No, I didn't.
All right, guys. What's going on, everybody? You already know it's Born 94. If you were up this late, you are a real OG. Back with the last draft of 2020, which has been the worst year of mankind history, probably. Best heels today. We're doing the best heels all time. So we'll see what everybody brings. It's gonna be interesting to see what people are thinking about when it comes to best heels. A lot can be considered. All promotions are involved, fellas, so nothing is off limits. So you can think outside the box. Whoever you feel is worthy of being on this list could easily make the list. So usual, the squad up top always win, and then the squad at the bottom, the average squad, the minors of the league. But as usual, we're starting off with our first pick because we have the honors this week. And I think we may have a first pick already. So
I think that's pretty unanimous. That should be number one.
This to me, well, I mean, it'd either be him. For me, it'd be him or the other guy. So I'm down with either two. Those are the two that I think should be unanimous. But
I think you got to go. I think you got to go with the first guy because when you brought up Malik, that's a good pick. But that was people who still liked him. When the guy who I just said was at his worst, no one liked him.
All right, you cool with that, Mark? You cool with that pick?
Yeah, sure.
All right, so
everybody got their you got your little thing to keep up with the you write down the picks and everything. You guys get that?
Yeah, of course, man. I'm on it. You guys know that.
With the first overall pick in the best heels draft, we're taking maybe the greatest heel ever. In some people's opinion, it depends. We're taking one Vince McMahon. Or Vincent Kennedy McMahon, however you want to say it.
Mr. McMahon.
That's a good pick.
Mr. McMahon, Vincent McMahon, Vincent Kennedy McMahon. You got many names.
Very good pick.
That's a good pick. And to be honest, I didn't put a lot of thought into this because I feel like a lot of this stuff needs to come natural. But I mean, not that natural, but we've been watching wrestling a long time. Stuff just comes, right? It comes naturally, whatever. And to be honest, I didn't think of Vince because I always go to actual wrestlers. Like, no offense to him, but
right. I know what you mean.
You know what I mean? Like, he was like a side wrestler character. He was never like on the roster. You know what I'm saying? Like he had his matches and spots and stuff like that. But anyhow, just wanted to throw that in.
I think Vince had to be number one because his feud with Austin.
Later, Conrad.
His feud with Austin saved the company, and I don't know. You can make a strong case between outside of Rock and Hogan. Vince was the biggest star he had there.
You got to think about that, fellas. Come on, man. Are you serious?
Yeah, but hang on. He.
Oh, really? Like what I'm throwing out there, I think is the greatest heel of all time. Okay. All right, go ahead. That's cool. I'm outnumbered. It's fine, brother. It's fine.
What do you think, Conrad?
I'm actually in the middle because I could go either way, and I'm throwing another.
I'm gonna tell you the reason why. I think if you go with my route, I don't think they're gonna go with your route in the next pick, and then we can take him for the second pick.
Then that's what I was gonna say. Do you think there's a little bit of room to breathe here?
I think there's a lot of room to breathe because there's a lot of great people that we could just go with. That first one was a gut punch to me, though, because that was a great pick. Not going to lie.
Right.
But I say we go Sean's route. Let's start with Sean's, and then let's rock with it.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I'm in. Go ahead, Sean.
Sean.
All right, first of all, blessed to be here. Not to get in the middle, but certainly blessed to be here. Feels great to be back. Anyway, that being said, I'm going with a man that everybody loves because he has the greatest catchphrase probably in the history of the game. But if you really go to brass tacks, if you think about his history, he is, in my mind and I think my teammates' mind, we're kind of debating, but if it's not one, it's 1A, the greatest heel in the history of professional wrestling, the Nature Boy Ric Flair.
That's actually who Malik wanted.
Do you like nature? Do you like boys?
That's who I wanted. That's who I wanted.
Okay, guys, I think Malik Mark. I think this has to be number 2 then.
I think you got to be careful saying that to Conrad. Do you like boys on? You're gonna have a lot of people reaching out to you after this.
Stone Cold said it to him. I'll always say that when someone says the Nature Boy. when he was doing the what? When he was the what was it? The commissioner or the sheriff? I forgot what he was calling
I think
himself.
that was Raw.
Like,
you know what? I want to hit that point home that of our first pick though, on the real. Like, this was arguably the best heel turn and sabotage double cross in history of wrestling when he turned when he turned on Dusty Rhodes.
True.
You know,
Crazy.
Ric Flair, like he was. I think back then, I'm sure he got like death threats. I swear, I'm sure.
No, he did.
Like,
He did. Remember, you know the old saying, like wrestlers, like some wrestlers used to try, like some fans tried to stab wrestlers, like back in those days, like they would try to get stabbed.
like, Dusty was the guy, man. He was the guy. He's everybody that could relate to him. The blue-collared, hardworking Americans, whatever. You know, trying to get out there and live the dream, and like, you know, hey, I'm a hardworking dude. I'm not the best looking. I'm not the best in shape, but you know, everybody related to him. And the fact that Ric Flair fucked him over was just like, for me.
To your point, Dusty came in to help Flair in that steel cage.
True. There you go.
How about Sting? Stinger, baby. Listen, you're going to go out there, you're going to join Four Horsemen, and Ric Flair going to kick your ass. Sting looks so dumb. When he fell for it the second time, bro, my heart hurt. I was like, how could Ric Flair do this
always
again?
fell for it, though. So,
Dirty, bro.
Right, you guys, are we agreeing on that pick? I'm down for it.
Who I said?
That's the only person that was mentioned. Yeah.
Okay. So should we wait for Mel to get back?
Yeah, go ahead. I'm listening.
Okay, so with our second pick, we picked Vince to help change the industry. This heel turn also changed the industry. And I'm going back to Bash at the Beach, 1996.
Oh no!
The greatest heel turn in wrestling history. We're going with Hollywood Hulk Hogan.
Okay, so as great as your pick was for number one, I think it's undisputed that pick was great for number one. I want you guys to think about something. Hulk Hogan's heel turn is probably the greatest heel turn in wrestling, if not in the top three without question.
Oh, yeah.
But is Hulk Hogan, in your mind, a number 2 overall pick for greatest heel of all time?
Here's why I think, maybe not, but here's why I think you got to go there.
I'm just throwing it out there.
See, his thing, as someone who was never a big Hogan guy, I love Hollywood Hogan. But I think that heel turn and heel run with NWO helped change the whole industry.
Sure it did. Sure it did. You're 100% right. If this was a heel,
He's talking about the individual.
Right. If this was a heel turn countdown, I think that pick might have been the number 1 overall pick.
It would have been.
But Hogan it's a good pick. It's a good pick. But Vince was a great pick. I'm saying Hogan as a number 2 overall pick in the greatest heels of all time draft.
He just ruined you.
I still think that's a good pick. I still think.
He's making the list. He's making the list for sure. Like Hogan is making the list.
Right.
I think what John's saying is like about, you know, I don't know.
I thought it was a little early myself. Because I think there are other people that
It's
could
just
be
a topic. It's just a topic. But like Sean said, heel
No,
turn.
I agree.
Now we're talking. That's around 2,
I think
round 1.
I putting a lot of stock into the turn and what it did for the industry. Because I still think he was a great heel. He was a great heel.
Yeah, and that's it. But let's not forget the fact that Hogan was a great heel, guys. Like I didn't like when he turned. I was like, okay, let's see how this goes, you know. And I think a lot of people were like, can he really do this? And it was like, you know, he was just doing stuff that was just next level, man. Like his promo in the ring alone. His promo
moves, the back rake.
I mean, you can make the case Hogan was always a heel. I mean,
yeah, you could make that case. But think about it.
I think Hollywood Hogan, for the record, is a top 10 pick in this draft. No question.
Of course. Even maybe 5, you know, like of each side. Exactly, top 10. So, like, I'm thinking, like that promo in the ring, guys, like, that was all time. Like, you know, you remember that promo. That's how much he stuck it to the fans that day. Like, you got to get everybody to shut up if you want to hear what. Like, that's real talk, man. That's some heat.
For 2 years, I did the charities and I did all this. And after the reception I just got, you fans can stick it, brother.
Dude, he spit on the title. He spit on the camera. Like, dude, he was an in-your-face heel, man. He was pretty. It's not that bad of a pick. Is what I'm saying.
Not a bad pick by any stretch of the imagination. But I will say this: I think our next pick is pretty damn good, and I want one of my brothers to make this pick because this was their idea.
Okay, I'm on it. Can I do this one, Conrad? Okay.
Wait,
So, all right. So this character, this persona, and everything else. This guy, I want you to realize something. We're talking about best heels of all time. How do you not include a guy that was always a heel? If the guy was always a heel, and it brings it to another level of being a heel, because it's just like, for me, when it comes to an actual heel character, it's like how, it's one thing to hate the guy, but to hate him for a decade, 2 decades of pure dominance, we're talking nobody cheering for this guy, and we're not talking about X-Pac heat. We're talking about legit. Like, I hate your character. I hate everything you stand for. Get out of my face. I don't care if it's 1, 2, 3 kid in the ring against this guy. I want the face to go over. And in order for a guy and a character to have that type of clout is like next level. So our number 2 pick is going to be the $1 Million Man, Ted DiBiase. And you guys know that he belongs in the number 2. In fact, we almost picked him one.
I'm fired up about this.
That's a great pick.
Oh my God! Now
I want him next.
You know what's funny, Malcolm? You brought up X-Pac. You know what had me laughing? I was watching King of the Ring. We go back and watch King of the Ring 2001, right? When X-Pac facing Jeff Hardy. Jeff Hardy comes out, the crowd's going crazy. When you dealing with the X Factor hits, listen how the crowd goes silent.
Oh, it's just like they don't care. And like you understand the difference. Like, you understand the difference. And the one guy I don't know. For me, Ted DiBiase was just that guy, bro. He was just the shit. People hated that guy, man. Like, dude, he was so good at his character. I told him into his face when I met him, when I shook his hand and I went to the comedy club and he was telling stories and stuff. I told him to his face, "You are the best heel ever." Like, I told him that, and he says, "I really appreciate that." Like, he was so good at his job, so good. I loved it.
He still has one of the best laughs. He still does that laugh great to this very day.
Oh yeah, he does.
Amazing. I believe we have. Are we agreeing on that pick, fellas?
Who I just said?
We just talked about. Everybody said the same name. All right. With our next pick, our top pick, we're going back to the 80s as well. So you guys went there. One of the best heels of all time, in my opinion, in many people's opinion. We're taking the Hot Rod, Roddy Piper.
Yeah, see, that he was for sure in our conversations, obviously.
Good pick, gentlemen.
Sometimes the youngsters they surprise me. Huh? They pay homage and respect to the legacies. I like that.
Do you forget that you for a whole year you called me the wrestling encyclopedia? Like, I don't know what I'm doing.
You like that nickname I gave you, eh?
Well, I think our next pick is like I want Conrad to make this pick, especially considering his name on this chat this evening. I think it makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, it does. Go for it.
Considering the pick that you're about to make, I think it correlates.
When we talk sexual mocha, there would be no sexual chocolate, no sexual mocha, if it wasn't for a man who was 2 words. Simply ravishing. We are going to be
3 words. Ow!
We are going to be taking ravishing Rick Rude.
Oh, hell yeah.
Yeah.
Do.
You got to give a kiss to the cam, Conrad. Come on, baby.
No, I'm already in enough trouble after my
We're gonna do this shot. Hang on. I'm gonna show you this. Look at that.
Yeah.
Hey, I just gave you another fucking 1,000 followers
right now.
It's for all you fat, out of shape Kansas City sweat hogs. Keep your voice down while I take off my robe and show you what a real man looks like. Hit the music.
I think both. Don't get me wrong, Malik. I think both are great picks. Who I say, who you said. I'm gonna let Mark be the tiebreaker. Mark, either way, I'm fine. Mark, who do you want to go with first?
I just put it in there.
Okay. Malik, go ahead.
With our next pick, our fourth pick, I believe, we're
Yeah.
taking, to me, the greatest manager of all time.
No, you're not. You're
We're
not.
taking Bobby the Brain Heenan.
Oh, damn it. That was ours.
I'm gonna press this button in my chat to show y'all what I was about to say next. That was literally right there on the.
I was hoping Malik was gonna pick like fucking Great Khali's manager or whatever his name was.
Talking about youngsters. Yeah, we
Yo,
picked
we're
everyone
trying.
for you guys. Yeah. Here's the great thing about Bobby.
Ari manager.
You know the great thing Bobby the Brain Heenan is that YouTube. Brian Thing wrote a good point that I never even thought about. People always talk about who Hogan's greatest rival was. You can make the strong case that was Bobby Heenan because everyone Hogan fought in the '80s, Heenan managed.
True.
Bobby the Brain Heenan is a legend, and not even gonna lie, definitely always had me cracking up, even as a kid.
His stuff
Bro,
with
just
Gorilla
think-
Monsoon was hilarious.
Just think about it. Just think about how good he was, bro. When he came on screen with Andre, instantly like sucked the air out of the building.
Just
Everybody's
like that.
"What's he doing
Just
with
like
that guy? Why is he with
I
that
can
guy?"
still see the promo. He ripped my cross, brother. My chest is bleeding. You're bleeding. You're bleeding. That's all I can remember from. I was like, "Yo, this is real."
Well, that was Piper. Piper told him that, right?
Mm-hmm.
I
Yeah, that
swear,
was amazing.
I swear,
Oh, you're bleeding. You're bleeding.
I swear one of the
That wasn't
chemistry
planned,
between-
eh?
You know
No.
what?
No, it wasn't.
It wasn't planned. Like the ripped across and bleeding. Like that was total improv. Amazing. Loved
Do we
it.
agree on our next pick, gentlemen?
Yeah.
I think we all wrote it. I think we're good.
Okay,
Yeah, we're
so
good.
here's the deal. When you think about heels, I think about guys that transcend the industry. Now, I know this may definitely rub my tag team partner, Sexual Mocha, the wrong way, but he co-signs this pick because he knows wrestling. So when you think about 1995, when you think about 1996, definitely 97 into 98, 99, he was on top of his game. 2000, he was on top of his game. 2003, he's leading a really important faction. 2005, he's back. 2010, he's
Keep
still.
it going. Keep it going, man.
Ladies and gentlemen,
Game.
Triple H.
Triple
I know you guys-
Papa H.
I know you guys-
triple nose.
All right, so we're already ready for our fifth pick. This is actually who I wanted before Heenan, but it didn't matter because we got both anyway.
Wasn't finished talking.
Sorry.
Pick number 5.
Okay. So at number five,
Kyron. Encyclopedia, man.
can I talk now?
Continue.
Anyway, so with our fifth pick, one word for a backstabber, someone who you don't like,
I'm intrigued. Keep
Oh
going.
my god.
it is a snake.
Snake.
And we're gonna go with a guy who one of my favorite talk is one of the best heels ever. Someone who back in the old days of our show used to get the short end of the stick in our top 10 list. Got Randy Savage bit up. We're gonna go Jake the Snake Roberts.
Good pick.
Trust me.
That's a good callback.
Good pick, gentlemen.
This is what I think. I think we should take him next, bro. We got to at least get one of these guys in from.
Boys, I threw out 2 options. Let me know if you agree with either one.
All right, hold up. Hang on, bro.
I think we got to get him, man.
Get this shit going. Let me get this shit going here. Hang tight with me.
Take your time. Take your time. With our next pick, we pick a booze.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
With our next pick, we pick Headbanger Mosh.
Really? Okay.
Is it crazy? Is it crazy to? I just want to throw this in there, see what you guys think, because it was a pretty.
You know what? I'm not as familiar with him as I should be, so I apologize for that.
Same. I know of it. I know what you're talking about, but
I didn't feel that. Not even.
I think we could wait. I think we could wait. I think we could wait.
I think it's a good pick, but I think if it wasn't on our radar, I'm guaranteeing it's not on theirs.
Malik, I'm not saying this. I was just bringing.
Yeah,
the
good point. Good point.
Right there.
And then another one I just want to throw out there here is I feel like it's kind of where you guys are kind of going, and I think this has got to be mentioned very soon.
oh, hold up.
Now that
Or what about
might be on their radar. I'll give you that.
yeah, or like something like that is.
You know what? Wait a minute. If we're gonna go there, how come we can't go here?
Exactly. I mean, that's another one too. I mean, like.
Oh, I love this draft, Malik. I love this subject.
I really do too. This is awesome.
Exactly.
This
So
has
look,
got
I
thinking
dropped like
caps on.
4 of them, man. I dropped like 4 of them right there.
Oh,
I
question.
don't hate yours. I don't hate
Question
your picks at all.
before we get deep into this, are we allowed to pick factions in this, or is it still no factions?
Nah,
I don't think so, man. I think we gotta keep it separate.
One person, but you can do any promotion though. So anybody from any.
Oh God, I had a good pick.
You could fight back with that one too. You know, to fight back their other pick. Their
I think your picks are where we need to go next. I'm just not sure if it's that first one that you said. Well, I take that back. Let me just write it down because it's too confusing.
Yeah.
This one or this one?
I like that. I like that pick a lot right now because I
That
know
one-
we gotta strategize with them, right? We gotta strategize a little bit with them because we don't want to lose that pick.
Time out. Let me say this. I wish I could talk onto this
I know.
to make it make sense to you guys. I say this for longevity.
Well, you know what you could do? You could everybody mute ourselves and then do a voice clip in the chat. You could do that.
No, I explained it. I think I'm good for this one at least. But I say we go that first because of longevity. Think of the think of the first name on top. Think of what else they did before that.
True.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, I'm cool with that one.
All right, let's do it.
Do it, Conrad, please.
Sean, hit the music.
Are we doing that right now? Wait, let me
Of
make
course we
sure.
are.
Let me make sure. Wait. Let me make sure. Is that what we're doing?
We're doing the
Is that what
yes.
All right.
Hit it for me.
Now his great nephew had some very familiar music. All right. This is not our pick, but this is his great nephew's music.
We are going to be taking the Iron Sheik with our next pick. Greatest heel of all time.
That's his great nephew's music. All right.
Bring back Camel Clutch. Make
Hogan, you pussy. Hogan, you pussy. I put you in the camel clutch.
No,
I met him, bro. Funniest dude ever go off about something. Funny
oh,
dude.
yeah, absolutely.
His Twitter is fantastic.
I swear,
One
one
of the
of
best,
the
one of the best Twitters ever.
No, one of his best. I swear, one of his best tweets had me dying laughing. He said, the Hulk Hogan, because he doesn't say Hulk Hogan, he said the Hulk Hogan. The Hulk Hogan sex tape's the Stuart Little movie, and my sex tape is Jurassic Park movie.
Look at the chat, fellas. Is that the next pick before we pick?
Marchman Savage. Marchman Savage.
Eddie, I think your pick should definitely next after these gentlemen pick.
That's the next pick, Malik. Go
Sean,
ahead.
to
Now.
me,
Sounds good to me, man.
Is that you cool with that? Because he threw out somebody else. Oh, you want him over?
Go ahead, guys. Go ahead and pick Ricky the Dragon Steamboat. Go ahead.
You can't pick a guy who never was a heel.
Go pick.
No, we gotta discuss this in the chat because Mark wants that guy over the other guy.
You know what, Mark? That's a good point. They both
just
Mark.
pick Ultimate Warrior and move on.
Well, I mean, if you no, I'm not.
I don't know though. I like. Okay, let's okay in the chat. Just tell me which guy you hated more as a kid, and we'll disagree on that. In the chat, just name the guy.
Yeah, Malik. I think Mark's right. We got to get him. I think at this peak he was way more evil.
He was, but I just felt like.
I mean, they're both good picks, but let's be honest, one was
All right,
way more
let's roll with him. I'm cool with him. Let's take him. We'll take him.
All right, Mark. You know what, Mark? You announced it for Mark because you brought it up, Mark. Yo,
you want to announce it, Mark? You want me to do it?
Yeah, I was about to say, Malik, you already know where I was standing. You can do it, bro.
All right.
No,
With our next pick, one of the greatest heels, especially from our generation. We all hated the guy as a kid. We couldn't stand him.
Here you go.
Damn it.
We're taking the Legend Killer, the Viper, the Apex Predator, Randy Orton.
Okay.
Good. Okay, we got to go with our guy next right now.
Yeah. Right now, I thought they were gonna go with him.
Me too.
if you're talking about who you think
All
we want to bring in,
All right. First of all, good pick.
If they take my pick, I'm gonna be upset.
All right. First of all,
It's coming. Get ready for it, baby. Get ready.
First of all, great pick, guys. But I think our pick is a little bit better. Mountie.
I think it's the timing of everything, and although I do agree that Randy is in a discussion of best heels of all time, I do think he's even top 5, like you just picked. But it's hard because the things that juggle my thought process is it's this or that. What about this guy? Is this guy better than Orton? Is this guy and that's the way my mind works. And I think that this next pick was just one of those guys, man, that he came out day in, day out, and he just rubbed everybody the wrong way. He was just that arrogant, that arrogant piece of crap rich guy that you just want to punch in the face. And we're talking about JBL. That's our next pick.
You didn't take my pick. Okay, you didn't take my pick. Woo!
I thought you were going.
Yeah, but let's not act like you're not a little bit like, oh shit, that's a good.
He was coming later. He was coming later.
We didn't have JBL on the radar.
Let me say this now, so I can get this opportunity. JBL was what they wanted Jinder Mahal to be. Let's just say that.
So we got our next pick. With our next pick, with our next pick, we're taking the guy I thought you guys were gonna take him. I was gonna be highly upset if you guys were gonna take him. Another one of the greatest heels from our era. We absolutely hated this guy with the passion, especially me. I couldn't stand this guy as a kid. The Radar superstar, Edge, bro. He
gave us Edge and Randy Orton back to back. You gave us Randy Orton and Edge back to back.
Woo!
Compared to what? We just picked JBL, and who was our last pick?
Iron Sheik, man. Iron Sheik.
Y'all didn't win. It's a push, bro. It's a push.
Here's the thing. I'm not denying it. I think it's come from us as kids. We absolutely.
You look at it different because we hated Edge and Orton way more than JBL.
Well, when we were first introduced to Edge was more of a baby face.
Oh, yeah,
right.
I don't. You know what I don't get? I never. Look, I'm just being honest. Like, Edge was a fantastic heel, but I never really hated him. I never hated him. And I never he was favorite of all time.
Because
how can you guys be the best heels if I don't actually legitimately hate them a little bit?
Because you weren't.
There's only one reason I hated Edge.
You weren't a kid in that era, bro. We were kids in that era.
We were kids. Maybe
you're right.
Especially being that John Cena fan, bro. Bro, he was John Cena's arch nemesis, bro.
That's why we picked Orton first because I hated Orton more as a kid than Edge.
I'll never forget.
Well, how old were you? Like, what are we talking? You said kid. How old were you when you hated Edge?
Bro, in 2006, I was like 8. I was like 8 years old.
I was 6. I'm gonna go from when I was 6 to when I was 9.
Bro, when he was treated, I'll never forget. Let me tell you this, bro. I'll never forget this. My hatred for Edge was on a different level this night. I'll never forget 2006, bro. SummerSlam 2006. I watched the pay-per-view. I begged my mom to get it because I was convinced John Cena was winning the WWE title back that night. I'm like, bro, I need to experience this. I need to watch my boy get the belt back. He's been robbed so many times. Of course, I'm only a kid. I'll never forget the finish of this match, and I'll never forget how I felt that day, bro. When Lita handed Edge those brass knuckles, and she knocked out John Cena in the ref. Of course, he cheated and everything. And the ref counted 1, 2, 3. I lost my mind, bro. My hatred for Edge on that day was at a different level.
I can give Malik shockingly, my hatred for Edge was worse. I can give you that moment when my hatred for Edge really grew. I'll get to it in a second. This might low under the radar. Was One Night Stand 2008. Mind you, in that feud with The Undertaker. And I remember that they had a TLC match. and the stipulation was if Undertaker lost, he had to leave the company. And I'm an 8-year-old kid, so I'm really wanting Undertaker to win. And he gave Edge the last rap through 2 tables. He comes up the ladder, he gets attacked. He takes out 2 of Edge's guys. Same thing happens again. And Edge pushes the Undertaker off the ladder and grabs the belt. I almost cried because the Undertaker was leaving. And for Randy Orton, I mean, come on now. Randy Orton, I can go through a bunch of stuff that made me hate Randy Orton as a kid.
Well, the Eddie Guerrero, like that he's in hell. That was like, whoa, that was good stuff. That was really good stuff.
Too far.
My point, gentlemen, is I get it. Look, at the end of the day, there's so many heels out there that could make a kid hate you. The real good heels, in my opinion, make a teenager hate you. And in fact, and that's where I'm going with this. JBL, when I was watching wrestling at that time, when he came out with that persona, that gimmick, he did it so well. Dude, I was like 18 to like 22 or something like that, and I still hated him. Now you tell me who's a better heel. A guy that makes an 8-year-old hate you, or a guy that makes an 18 to 22-year-old actually hate you. You tell me who's the better heel.
I'll say this one thing. I'm going to have to agree with Mountie because even to this day, I still don't like looking at JBL.
Come on over to this side, baby.
Nowadays, I can tolerate JBL.
There's always been something special about you, Ram. Always been something special.
We're watching you, man. We're watching you, Rambo.
Be Hogan, brother. Tell him to stick it, dude.
Here's the thing with JBL, though. Like, at least nowadays, granted, I hated JBL mainly because how he used to win. Nowadays, I actually can watch JBL say, dude was going to Mike and he was hilarious. Like, that alone makes me can say good stuff about JBL.
While we're taking this break, I hope everyone who's watching this or listening to this is enjoying it. But I will say, Edge did violate, though, Mountie. Like, Edge had a moment where I hated him. It wasn't all the stuff before. It was
never happened with me.
He broke the bro code.
The Matt Hardy thing.
He broke the bro code.
Oh, that was really bad. Yeah, you're right.
You're right. I was like, yo, this dude is a piece of garbage, bro, for doing that.
In real life, I know that was like...
What made you hate him even more is that they embraced it on television, bro. They had a wedding, and they did all types of crazy things.
Well, Malik, they had no choice. They had to embrace it because they had.
I mean, obviously, it drew money, but it made you hate him more though, because the fans knew about it. So it was like, damn, bro, like really.
Bro, Conrad, I love that pick. You got to hit it, man. Do it.
Here's the thing: they had to embrace that because
double heart first.
Because
oh yeah,
remember Malik, they had to embrace it because when they first came out, people weren't that mad, but then Matt got fired over it. And remember, it was that episode of Raw in Madison Square Garden when Lita came back from the ACL tear, and she got booed to shreds. They had to embrace it at that point. No
and if you ever want to laugh, please find the YouTube video of Matt Hardy retelling the story with the cardboard Lita.
I think that shit's hilarious.
Yo, when he told her, he was like, "You and your broken." What was injured, her knee or her neck? He was like, "Get your broken ass knee out of my bed after you cheated on me."
Damn.
Basically, the last 2 picks we based off of, like, we hated. If you grew up from our generation, you hated JBL, but not to the extension of Edge and Orton. Like, Edge and Orton were like easily 1 and 2, most hated. You couldn't stand them. You didn't want them on your television. Get them off my TV. Anytime that music, if you think you know me, bro. Every time you come out, I'm like, oh my god, this guy's coming out. Like, I don't want to see this guy right now.
Then the stuff with Vicky, yeah, come on now. Like, it literally was a post on Twitter saying, if you grew up during the 2000s, you hated these 2 more than anybody. And it was Edge and Randy Orton.
Yes.
Dude, I just gave you like fucking 4 picks. Like, we got to go with all 4 of those, please.
Yeah, we just here.
Let's
keep it moving, bro. Before we start laughing in the chat too much.
No, but Kyron, Malik, I get it. I'm just saying from a different perspective. I'm just saying, like, JBL, like, I fucking hated that guy. Like, I hated that guy. I was like, oh, fuck him, screw him. Like I loved him when he was, APA, and I despised him to this day. I still want to punch him in his face. He needs to go back to like the jet black hair and the goatee. I can't stand him this way. I can't. Anyways, please, Conrad, next.
With our next pick in the draft, this is someone who I think a lot of people will forget about. And I think if you grew up around that time frame, like if you started watching wrestling, I'll say in like 2000, you may not really get this hatred. Like it was something else.
Oh,
this guy was the biggest piece of trash. He disrespected people's parents on the microphone. Dude, if I heard another Stu Hart joke from this man, it was gonna crush my soul. Jerry the King Lawler. Disrespect.
I hated him.
It's a
He
great
was
pick.
such a bastard. Remember when you make fun of Jake the Snake with his alcohol problems?
That
and
went,
like,
that went too. That one went.
dude, like,
That went,
dude, he
that
would
went-
make fun of everybody. He'd make fun of Canadians. He'd make fun of like fat people. Like everybody. Like nobody was safe with Jerry Lawler. Nobody,
Nobody, bro.
yeah,
Nobody.
bro. There's some guys that you want to punch through the fucking screen, and he was one of them. You know?
that Jake the Snake, yeah, but that's stuff with Jake. That went no, yeah, it's not him making fun of his alcoholism. That's fucked up. What was messed up was when they had him pour alcohol on him. Like the man's recovering alcoholic.
yeah.
Why would you have him do that? The
He was
only
okay. He was okay with it though. He was okay with it.
Jake hated that. Jake hated that.
That was
Did he? I thought he was okay with it at the time.
No, Jake hated that feud. Jake hated doing that.
I thought he got his blessing to be like, yeah, no, go ahead, give me the real thing. Don't give me the fake shit. Like, oh.
Jake has always said that was a place Davey just didn't have to go. The only good thing Jerry Lawler did that night, and I'm biased because of who my team is, was because SummerSlam night was in Cleveland. Ohio, was in Cleveland, and in Cleveland, and the Browns had just relocated to Baltimore, and he came out in a Ravens jersey. That was great stuff. But after that, no.
How do you guys feel about the next pick? I mean, the name I mentioned. I mean, those are the three that we mentioned back to back. So I mean, I think we just.
I mean, you know how I feel about him, but so, yeah, I think so. I think we need to go.
I do.
Okay. You feeling that, Mark? You feeling that?
Yeah, I'm cool with that.
All right. With our next, what pick we on?
Hey,
Didn't y'all just pick? No, we picked.
Yeah.
What is pick number 8? Number 8.
8.
We're taking another guy. We actually got 3 back-to-back picks for one. Another guy that easily hated from our generation. Oh, just couldn't stand him, especially on my television, bro. Till to this day, bro. I knew he was a real heel when I went to a Monday Night Raw, bro. And my grandma, she don't even watch wrestling. She don't watch wrestling like this. But he comes out to Monday Night Raw, and he starts talking on the mic and everything. And she's like, she's losing her mind at this point. She's like, get this guy out of the ring. Somebody come beat this guy up. Why is he talking all this trash? At that moment, I knew this guy was a natural. He was a real heel. We're taking one of the greatest of all time, Mr. Y2J, Chris Jericho.
And we're talking, you know which one we're talking. We're talking about that 2008 to 2011. I'm the best in the world at what I do.
Winkle Jericho.
Man, when he smashed Shawn Michaels' face into the Geritron, crazy thing is about that heel turn is Chris was not in smashing Shawn's face, Conrad, but Chris was completely justified in his heel turn because he was 1% right. The crowd rooted for Shawn when Shawn was cheated to beat Batista, and the crowd booed him even though he was the one that was in the right.
Most good heels, there's an element to truth in what they're saying.
Exactly, and that's why I think with Conrad, I think this is who we got to go with next.
Boys, it's up to you.
Oh, wait, over him?
I
would take him over him.
would how I don't understand how you're 50-50 on that pick. That's what I'm confused on.
Well,
The problem is I like one of them.
You're absolutely insane. I've said that for weeks about that.
I like the guy that you hate. I really do.
That's what I think of.
I got another.
I get it. But man, like you were talking, like you understand the element of how crazy
Hatred.
his heel. Yeah. You get it. Do you understand?
I do. I think it just falls in what we were saying before about I'm just gonna do it like he does the tweets. It reminds me of that though. Same thing for what was said before.
Right, but still,
he's in the Hall of Fame because he was a great heel and a great face. That doesn't mean he can't be both.
You know what? Maybe that other pick was too high. You know what? F it. I say we do it. That other one getting picked though, Sean. I'm telling you right now.
I smile every time I watch him on the network.
I cry. Go ahead. Make the pick, Mountie. That was yours.
Which one are we doing?
I got another name right here. I think
the one that
I was arguing against with you. Did I put the card?
Yeah, bro.
So, okay, this guy, like guys, like when we're talking heels, you know, we're talking obviously heat from fans and everything else that comes along with it to be that character that you're trying to despise and really like, you know, put over the babyface talent. And this guy at you know, there was like actually legit fear of his safety for certain events. I think it was SummerSlam or something like that. We're talking about
to the point. If you don't mind me adding this, to the point where they literally had to change the venue of Wrestle Freaking Mania.
I already know what this is.
Yeah, he was a great heel.
And
I already know what this is.
We're going with Sergeant Slaughter. Like, listen, this like there's wrestling heel heat, and then there's heel heat that translates over into real life. And there was obviously, you know, some some beef within the countries, man. So I mean, like this, like betrayal of American like blood, and like people wanted to kill him. That's it. People wanted to kill him. And
He's the flag on fire, bro.
He turned his back on the United States, bro. Like, come on now, like that's.
I want you to realize that people look at a television and a whole spectacle, entertainment, a show, right? This is what we watch, right? We watch for entertainment, and it's predetermined and everything else. They were able not to separate that from real life, and they actually wanted to kill him. That's fucked up.
Yeah.
We got
a good one.
We got our next.
Way more words, brother.
Always remember this. Always remember this, and I'm always bring it up. It was originally going to be Tugboat. Always remember that. It was going to be
Uncle Fred.
Always remember Sheik Tugboat was going to happen.
Sheik Tugboat. Oh
that's what Bruce Pritchard said. That it was that heel stuff was going to go to Tugboat. They were going to call him Sheik Tugboat.
The craziest thing is both Sergeant Slaughter and Tugboat follow me.
Wow.
All right, we got our next. We got our next.
First of all, pretty cocky on your part to throw that out there.
No, I just laughed. Tugboat didn't follow me until we did the worst gimmicks draft, and I don't know if you saw Kyron's video or what.
All right, we have our next.
Since you tagged me in it.
We got our next pick, so I'm sure you guys are gonna appreciate this one too. With our next pick, we're taking a true natural heel, and she's a female, not even a male. She's a female. One of the best female heels of all time.
I know who
y'all remember WrestleMania 7. Y'all remember the whole showdown. Y'all remember everything. We're taking Sherry Martel, aka Sensational Sherry.
Yeah, we've been wanting to pick her for like the last four rounds. That's a good pick, obviously, man. You can't go wrong with her, man. You can't.
You know, but I think you boys made a mistake, because if you saw her attire at SummerSlam '92, that made some young men that night.
I mean, her
bad.
Hey, Conrad, does this bring you back? It was just like
demonetized.
Oh, this was demonetized a long time ago. It's worth it.
Yeah,
it's worth it though. It's worth it. All right, let's go. That was a good pick. That was definitely on our next couple of picks for sure. So we gotta regroup here. Guys, we gotta. I know. I feel like I'm fucking taking over here. I'm sorry, but I have so many thoughts on these things.
I'm cool with that, but it's like it makes me. If you don't look at my face when you mention his name, look at my face when you mention his name. He makes me smile. I don't know why.
That doesn't make sense to me.
Yo, let me announce it.
He was funny. I enjoyed it. He's a great heel. It's a good pick for us, but he was so funny.
I think, and look, like Conrad, I see you. I see you what you're doing. I think there's a little bit more room, but I think we gotta hit him hard right now.
With yours?
Yeah, I think so.
All right.
I love this guy.
Can I announce it? Because
yeah, I guess so.
James Ellsworth, is that your pick?
Huh?
You taking James Ellsworth? Is that your pick? James Ellsworth?
I'm thinking about him right now. He was great. He was so freaking great.
I hope we're not talking about James Ellsworth.
I called him Earthworm Jim.
Listen,
just think of
this next man is a cousin of somebody that we've already picked.
Is he?
This dude is one of the biggest pieces of shit when I was a kid. This dude
Are we talking about
ended.
that real life we're talking about?
No. This is as a heel. Dude, time out. Ricky the Dragon Steamboat finally wins the Intercontinental title, and a few weeks later, he loses the belt to the Honky Tonk Man. That's our pick. The Honky Tonk Man sucked, bro. He sucked on every level. He was he had a manager named Peggy Sue that was Sherry. This is trash.
Bro, I want you know how much I hate this guy? Dude, you know how much I hate this guy? The fact that he still has that fucking record of the IC title pisses me off every single day.
Yo,
Every day.
when Santino had the honkometer, bro, I was like, yes, someone's finally
Finally gonna happen.
The honkometer was funny though. The honkometer
A lot
was
of
funny.
people claim to be the greatest Intercontinental Champion of all time, but there's only one guy that has the numbers to back it up.
It's him. Fucking asshole. Fucking dick.
For me,
all
it's his
because
reign so
Butch
bad with the
wasn't
fact
there.
he wasn't supposed to hold it that long. Literally, this is one thing, and Ted DiBiase held this on him for a long time. And I think if you know the story, you know the story. That he was originally supposed to win the title at WrestleMania 4, but because Honky Tonk Man didn't want to drop the title to Savage, Vince had to reshuffle it and gave Savage the title. And Ted held it over Honky Tonk Man for a long time.
He was so great. I love that guy.
Yo, I remember watching because I got the Macho Man DVD, and I remember. No, let me explain.
I know you're.
Let me explain, y'all. My grandmother, she used to watch wrestling with me when she was still alive, she used to watch in the 80s and all that stuff. So I had a Macho Man DVD, and they had a match between him and Honky Tonk Man at WrestleMania. Saturday Night's Main Event. And I remember my grandma said Elvis would have choked them out messing his songs up like that.
He literally had a segment on WrestleMania where he sang a song. He literally took up 10 minutes of WrestleMania time singing a song named after him. That is awesome.
I'm with Conrad. I don't like the Honky Tonk Man either. I'm with Conrad. No.
Oh, 14 months.
Oh my.
14 months, baby. 14 months.
Sad thing is, the guy who actually held the title, who held the launch for him, was was Savage, who I'd argue was a better IC champion than he was.
Oh,
But
Honestly, I thought Orton could have broke the record too when he was in Evolution. I thought they should have let him break it, but
all right,
All right,
you know what?
take your pick, man. Take your pick.
You sure? Because I mean, I do like your pick, but I just feel like my pick, that's something even they probably wouldn't think about.
I don't think they think about it either, but I mean,
Look at the stuff.
I'll trust.
I think
I'll trust
we can
you.
get both picks. I think we can get both picks.
Okay,
I'll
so
I roll.
all right, so this is something I had to convince the guys. This is number 10. This is actually something when you hear about the heel he had, then that's why I had to have him on this list. When he turned on his mentor, by hitting him in the head with a wooden chair, the heat Larry Zbyszko got. That's our next number 10 is Larry Zbyszko. This is a dude who, as a heel, was stabbed, beat up with a pipe, and when he had a cab, he was in flipped over. That's how much heat Larry Zbyszko had. That's why Larry Zbyszko is number 10 on our list.
Good pick. It's a good pick. All right, we're gonna keep this thing going, man. And if you don't mind, Conrad, can I pick this next pick?
go ahead.
All right, so here we go, man. This is the guy who I actually do think is the greatest Intercontinental Champion of all time. I really enjoyed Honky Tonk Man. I think he was very funny. Obviously, Honky had the record of 14 months, but this man, I think, was the greatest Intercontinental Champion of all time because it just, if you think about it, Intercontinental Champion and this guy, it was almost like that belt, especially that belt of that era, was made literally for him, for his waist, for his shoulder, for his walk to the ring, for the towel that he used to carry, for his manager, for his music, for his blonde hair. I mean, this dude, it looked like when you think of Intercontinental Champion, you think of this guy. And this is the man who I truly do believe, all honky tonk fun stuff aside, I think this man is the greatest Intercontinental Champion of all time. I'm talking about Curt Hennig, a.k.a. Mr. Perfect.
I still don't know if I say he's the greatest, but that's definitely a good pick. All right, Malik, we go with. I do love this guy, so Malik, go ahead and go because I love this guy.
With our next pick, we're taking Another guy who's one of the greatest managers of all time, one of the best promo talkers of all time, knows how to get legit real heel heat. We're taking Paul Heyman.
Probably my favorite promo guy of all time. And I've made that abundantly clear.
That's actually
We did our top 10 mic work because I refuse to let Paul Heyman not be on that list. Conrad remembers he wanted Jake the Snake Roberts, and I gave him about 10 Paul Heyman promos. I was not letting Paul Heyman go.
Paul Heyman's the shit.
I have no problem, Conrad, you picking any one of those guys. It's up to you. I mean, I don't really care about the order. I think all four, and actually some of yours are really good. I don't care. Like, I think we're at the point of the draft.
Those were just names I'm putting out there. I think we need to pick them up, but the order is what I'm like.
Okay, so if I were to take an order, I would go this way. I mean, I think
the first one I wrote is who Mountie said he would go with.
All right,
Okay.
that's
Where's Mountie?
I actually agree.
He stepped away for a second. He's still listening though.
I agree. I think we should go the tall route.
Taller route.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, we can rock with this.
You want me to do the honors?
Go ahead. You can give him the intro.
All right.
I'll probably think of something cunning to say.
Wait, I want to make sure we're thinking about. I'm double tapping. Is that who we're going with?
Yeah.
Okay. Greatest attraction, arguably of all time. Definitely one half of the main event that I consider the most influential main event in history. The only guy that was larger than life, that stayed larger than life. Add one of your earlier picks to the mix, Bobby the Brain Heenan at his side. The ultimate heel, the ultimate nasty, big, nasty giant. I'm talking about Andre the Giant. Still to this day, one half of the show that is the greatest, most watched network television special in the history of the business. We're talking about the main event 1988 in the rematch from WrestleMania 3. So we're talking about Andre the Giant.
Two things. One, Sean, I'm glad you brought up that the main event thing, because I actually had a project I had doing broadcast TV, and I brought that up, and I brought up how I got 33 million views. I actually brought that up. And two, Andre was in my mind, but here's why I didn't want it. Similar to what you said about Hollywood Hogan. The turn itself is good, but when you think of like as a great heel, that's why I didn't really bring Andre the Giant up.
Well, you got to remember, like, again, like for us, what is this? What pick is this for us? This is like 10, 9, something like that.
11 because we just made our 11. I think it's 11 because it's just our 11 pick.
I think Andre at this stage in the game is a decent pick. And I think for the reasons that you're bringing up, I think Andre the Giant's not a top 5 heel pick because of exactly what you said. But I think in the 11 to 15 range, I think he falls right in that category.
So Malika, we going who I said?
I threw out another name out there, just in case you want to.
I mean, I brought this dude up plenty of times, but you never let me get him. But they're definitely not going to think of that. I think we should go with my guy than that because they're not going to think of that.
All right.
If they thought of that, that'd be incredible. All right, number 12. This is the guy who I think is the greatest Intercontinental Champion of all time. He won it in the Boston Garden and lost it in one of the greatest matches in WrestleMania history. This guy is my favorite wrestler in the 1980s. I'm going with, ooh yeah, the Macho Man or the Macho King, Randy Savage.
Good pick.
Solid pick, especially for where we are. Yeah, that's a good pick.
You know what? The fact that you just said for where we are makes me think of something else. I think we're really dropping the ball on this one, guys.
I can.
For Macho Man, give me the other 2 picks you guys had. I know I have it in my head, but
all right. Number 10 was Larry Zbyszko, and number 11 was Paul Heyman. Thank you. Someone understands how good of a heel Larry Zbyszko was.
Oh, he was so good. And what was 11?
And number 11 was Paul Heyman.
That's another good pick too. Yeah, I thought about him too.
I never saw Larry's original heel turn. By the time I was a kid and exposed to Larry, he was that like mid-card WCW type of heel.
Yeah. See, the thing with me is like I like if I didn't know about Larry's, being a heel, I wouldn't have even brought it up. But when I looked up, like when I heard about the stuff he went through, the hill he got, like I said, being stabbed, being hit with a pipe, having a cab flipped over that he was in, that had to be on the list. I'm sorry, but you don't get that.
That's a great pick. I mean, honestly, like I've always hated that. I hated him so much. I just hated him. Oh no, he did his job well, if you ask me. And to this day, I was like, but like I respect him now, but still hated him. Look, man, you gotta just let me have this one, and then after that, I love all the rest of them. But we got to do that one.
Go ahead.
I have a strong hatred for this man, strong, but at the same time, kind of like Larry Sabisco, I respect him now. Even though he's still one of the most controversial people in the wrestling world. A lot of people don't understand him. They think he's too old school, he's too whatever. But the fact is, it's, in my opinion, a lot of what he says is very accurate. And it's that shit that nobody else has the balls to say going into 2021. He was always very outspoken. His promo heel work on the microphone. He was a manager. So in order for me to actually have this pick, it's like, there's so many wrestlers that were amazing at being heels. Excuse me. But this guy, I actually despised every time he'd be on camera. And I usually always hated the team that he was with or the wrestler that he was with because he did such a good job of of just being a heel manager. And we're talking about Jim Cornette, and he's got to be on this list.
Double cheeseburger, double onion, double mayo.
I thought about bringing up Cornette. Yeah, Cornette's a great pick.
I hate corny.
Bro,
I used to be a fan of Cornette, but I'm not going to get into that. But Malik, you want to go who you brought up? Because I think that's a solid pick that they would never think of.
Yeah, I think he has to be on here. He has to be on here.
You want to do this one or you want me to do it?
I'll let you do it because you've always talked about him. So,
all right, number 13. This is a pick that I don't think you guys would have ever brought up, which is this is a guy who he wrestled a long, long time ago. But when you think about game changers, he inspired wrestlers to this very day. He inspired people such as Muhammad Ali. He inspired people in entertainment. I've brought this guy up plenty of times. He made more money than almost anyone you can think of. He sold TVs. That's how much people want to watch him. We're going with Gorgeous George.
Mm.
You gotta know your wrestling history. That's why I praise Gorgeous George plenty of times on our shows, and I've never really gotten a lot of recognition for it. But I think Gorgeous George is one of the best heels in history of wrestling.
Oh yeah, definitely. Like he's in my opinion probably top 15 of all time. And I was gonna we had another one too that we were talking about. It's just, does it have that same impact? We don't know, but it's definitely, you can't mistake what he did for the wrestling industry from a bad guy standpoint. You can't.
Exactly. All the wrestlers we like nowadays probably wouldn't exist without Gorgeous George. He's the one that started with the robe with the blonde hair. The things Ric Flair would take. His, eccentric personality. Muhammad Ali. Like, all the stuff like we love from entertainers and wrestlers today would not possibly be possible without Gorgeous George. That's why I've always praised him as one of the greatest wrestlers, the greatest drawers in the history of wrestling.
Sean, you can take that next one. You've been waiting for it.
All right, we're going the more current one, right?
The first, no particular order, first name.
Got you. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I think this is one of the greatest heel runs in the history of the business. As a Christian, I'm about to get real heavy on you guys. As a Christian, it almost made me a little uncomfortable. That's how good he is what he does. You have you have American Badass. You have there's so many incarnations. The most recent legendary kind of version. You have the Streak, but I'm talking about a run that was awesome. I'm talking about Undertaker. I'm talking about Ministry of Darkness. I'm talking about some amazing work. I'm talking about The Undertaker.
You know, I gotta disagree. I never liked Ministry Undertaker. That was like one of my least favorite Undertakers.
I thought he was tremendous.
Ministry Taker.
I think with Ministry Taker, you had to be there in the moment because what he was doing to Vince McMahon was like crazy. Remember the teddy bear when he lit it on fire?
Oh, yeah, man.
Like that was crazy. That was the introduction to like his family getting involved on screen because it was like you lit someone of my family's teddy bear on fire.
Ministry Taker is my favorite Undertaker version, bro.
To me, my favorite Undertaker is 96 and 98, right before Ministry Taker, and 04 to 07. Those are and 04 to 08. Those are my two favorite Undertakers.
You give me 02 heel taker. Say what if you sleep with your sister? What? Oh, go ahead, Taker.
No. You went for 02 heel taker, Conrad, because I remember you brought this up before. Remember he beat down David Flair and he had him in the bathroom. He said, "What are you doing? What do you think I'm doing?"
David Flair said, "What are you doing? I'm kicking your ass. What does it look like I'm doing?"
Well, I'll put it to you like this: all this stuff kind of adds to my a Ministry of Darkness Taker was the most heel taker in my mind, but I mean Undertaker is our pick, so all that O2 stuff, all that is included.
Absolutely, man. Remember the worst one was when he turned on JR, bro. That joint hurt my heart, man. When he was like, "You think you're too good to kiss his ass?" What? Knocked him down.
So yeah, Undertaker's our next pick.
That's a good pick, though. That's a good pick. Malik, you think we should go with who I said? Because what I said, I think is a really good heel, especially in a certain territory. I think we should go with him.
Yeah, but I got an argument for that because I don't ever really think of him that way.
That was one of the Malik. That was one of the great.
He was, but he was a better good guy.
No, I'm not denying that, Malik. But come on now, that was one. Undertaker was a better good guy too. But come on now,
Undertaker, but he was.
So was Hogan.
Yeah, of course. Please.
but that's it. You know,
you can't go there. Hogan's the greatest babyface of all time.
Yeah.
Anyway,
who's a better babyface historically than Hulk Hogan, Kyron?
Stone Cold Steve Austin.
He's a better babyface than Hulk Hogan all time.
Yes.
Okay. All right.
I think once again this is different areas because I don't really care for Hogan. I'm a huge Austin guy.
Okay. I don't like Hogan personally either. After I found out about his behind the scenes stuff, but I'm talking about just Hogan on screen. That's all. But okay.
I mean, I still would take Austin.
Okay.
Even if it's besides behind the scenes stuff, I still take Austin. You can hear us, but it's breaking up. Mark. Let me tell you, Mark. Try to leave and come back.
I think I would say Hogan's the best babyface ever, but I think Austin's the more popular star. I think he's the biggest star of all time.
That's all that's what I'm saying. I appreciate the fact that you thought about that. That's what I didn't say who's the more popular. Stone Cold is clearly the more popular. He sold the most merch. He's the greatest.
Yeah. Austin wasn't really, even though Austin was a babyface, he wasn't like good guy, baby. Like he just did cool shit. He just did cool shit.
I think you can go back and forth on Hogan and Austin no matter what, whether it's inflation of prices, popularity. Hogan was seen by more people. If you walk down the street, you want to ask one person, like name one wrestler you know, that was the name I would have bet on like a few years ago. Like I said, like, yeah, it's probably Hogan.
But let's be honest though, you would see people in the late 90s wearing an Austin 316 shirt even if they didn't like wrestling.
True.
Mm-hmm.
Hogan was on the cover of Sports Illustrated, for God's sake. And wrestling's not even.
He did movies. He did movies and everything, bro. Like he was like,
they weren't good, but yeah, he did movies. They weren't good.
What are you talking? They were amazing.
They weren't good movies.
It doesn't.
Dude, for that time and everything, they were good movies, man.
Rocky 3 wasn't a good movie.
Rocky 3 was subjective. It's subjective. It's not bad, but it surely ain't as good as the first two.
No, Rocky 3 is the best Rocky.
What are you talking about?
No, it's not.
That's the best Rocky. Rocky 3 is the best one.
Okay, we're getting off topic. We can't do this. We can't.
Rocky 2 is the best.
Rocky. Oh my.
Rocky 2 is like, I mean, it was great.
Rocky 3 is the best. Rocky 3 is amazing.
Fourth. It goes like this: 4, 3, 1, 2,
Okay,
and then whatever else.
Fine, and I would.
It's 3. It's 3, 2, 4, 1 for me, bro.
It's
Fuck
two.
wrong with you, number 4.
It's
I'm gonna-
one. It's three.
I'm gonna adjust my stance because I didn't think about 4. 4 is the greatest Rocky of all time, but 3 is right behind. 2 is not the greatest Rocky of all time. Are you
Two
kidding?
is definitely the greatest Rocky.
That's definitely not.
The only good part about number 2 was when Adrian woke up from the coma and then he trained. That's it. Nothing. Everything else about the movie sucked.
Rocky
It's
3
Rocky
3 had a better fight scene. Way better. fight scene.
Oh yeah,
I'll give you that.
so many of them.
In Rocky 3, Rocky.
I'm gonna say I reclaim my. It's to me. It's
Rocky 3, you had 3 fights. You had Thunder Lips,
Three's
then you
number
had 2. Yeah.
No, Rocky and Rocky 2. Rocky, look how this is what I love about Rocky 2. Why it's my favorite. You would think that after the high of the first fight, Rocky would become famous, but you would see that fame isn't always marked up to be because you can easily lose it. Like, let's be honest, he wanted to do endorsements, couldn't do it because he had no charisma. He thought he could do more fights, then Mick smacked him in the face because he couldn't see. It's those little things that make Rocky 2 my favorite. That happy ending you thought you got in the first one is not what it's meant to be. It shows life goes on after you get your fame, and that's why he had to do the second fight. That's why I love
Rocky 3, Rocky lost.
He
Rocky
lost. He lost everything.
Bro,
Win the
Rocky,
rematch.
let me see. Rocky 3 was so much better, bro. Not only did
He was
he had to go to Creed to beat this guy because he had to get the style and everything, bro. He had to
Now
learn
that's
the style.
one thing I will give you. I will give you.
Man,
He was afraid. Hey, he was afraid. You want me to
I
say
love that
it?
scene.
He was
I love that
afraid.
scene. I
He
love
was
that scene.
afraid.
I'll give you. There are things I do love. The training. I think the training sequence is probably my favorite. The scene of him saying he was afraid. I love those two. And of course, when Apollo
We
said
gotta
there's no tomorrow. Those are three
we
scenes I really like.
taking, but we gotta make a pick.
All right.
I think we should go who I say. I think we should go who I say.
died and he avenged his trainer's okay, I'm
Coming next week will be the Rocky podcast.
God.
Oh God.
I
I think we should go who I
for the week.
All right,
I
we
think
can take him. I don't think we should take him right now, but I'll roll with it.
All right, number 14. Oh man, this dude, he
Great
was
heel.
more
Great heel. He was a great heel.
he was more babyface than heel, but when he was a heel, it was a great heel. And one of the greatest heel turns of all time is hated in the country of Canada this very day. All I gotta say is, who's your daddy, Montreal? We're going with Shawn Michaels. 4. Now we having one of the greatest heel turns of all time. We threw Marginetti through a window, but having to me the greatest heel promo in history of wrestling in Montreal.
You know what? I mean, like, I can't answer that because I'm from Montreal. So like that one really sticks in my craw big time because I felt like it was a personal attack on us. So I don't know how it looked like to the rest of the world, but obviously to me, like it still rubs me the wrong way, man. So I'm like, you know, that's a great fucking pick because I swear I fucking hated that man in that 96, man. I was like, you are dead to me. The fact that him, Hunter, McMahon, and they were all in on it was like all of you guys can go fuck yourself. You know, and it drives me nuts to this day. Some of my closest friends that they say fucking that it was a work. Shut the fuck up. It was not a fucking work. It was not a work. This shit happened. You're telling me Bret Hart, the guy that buries so many people like on interviews, like, oh, that guy wasn't that good. He's like the fountain of truth. You're telling me that he's gonna take that to the grave because of a paycheck? Hell no. Fuck that, man. He was like Canadian hero. Don't tell me he's lying to me for fucking 20-something years since I watched that moment. Don't fucking tell me that.
Bro, I know a guy.
Screwjob was real. They fucked over Bret Hart and they're like, well, he'll be fine because he was going to WCW, a hot commodity at the time, and he's a big name, and they fucked that up, but doesn't matter. You know what? The fucking screw job pissed me off, and I understand why it happened. I understand why a lot of people are mad at Bret Hart because he didn't want to drop the title. Look, he made a mistake there. I get it. But that's not. You don't do business like that to Bret Hart, man. Come on, you don't do that.
Hey, I don't blame him for that.
I'm not done.
No, no,
And the fact that he goes in the back and all these guys are like, and Hunter's there and he's shaking his head and Michaels and I swear to God, I didn't. Shut the fuck up. Don't you fucking swear to God, you're fucking lying. You're fucking lying. And you put the Lord's name in vain because I swear to God, I didn't know. Bullshit, Hunter. You didn't know. You didn't know. Really? I swear to God, you're a fucking piece of shit at that point, man. I respect Shawn Michaels to this day because of what he's done and everything. But at that time, in that moment, fuck Shawn Michaels and fuck your pick. I'm done.
Bro,
So am I not allowed to do Shawn? So am I not allowed to do Shawn Michaels' rendition of "Oh Canada"?
Not if you want to be my friend.
Bro, I know a guy.
I went off. I'm sorry.
I went to school with the guy. He was Canadian, right? And his parents are from Montreal, bro. And I went. His dad, because he was a wrestling fan, so obviously we know when you're a wrestling fan, you meet other wrestling fans, you talk and shit like that. So we end up hanging out and stuff. And I went to his house a couple of times, bro. His dad will forever hate Shawn Michaels, bro. His dad will always hate Shawn Michaels, bro. He will forever hate Shawn Michaels, bro.
My dad despises Shawn Michaels to this day. I told him, I said, hey, Dad, great news. They buried a hatchet on Raw like so many years later. He's like, yeah, I don't care. Fuck Shawn Michaels.
He hates him so much, bro.
He hates him so much. He's like, that's a guy. I don't give a shit. He's a piece of crap for what he did to Bret. And fuck McMahon too. And I'm like, oh, you know what? I can't even like argue. I can't be like, you know what? I get it, Dad. I get it. Like it really hurt our feelings, man.
Listen, one of my first ever like shoot DVDs I got, I was getting like advertisements for someone who had like a radio show podcast a long time ago. I'll tell you a story another time about that. It's a Jim Cornette shoot DVD, and he's talking about all the stuff with Shawn Michaels. My favorite line ever from it was, well, Jim, Shawn's a born-again Christian now, and he's a different man. He was like, born again? I wish he wasn't born the time. I hate Shawn Michaels. He ruined my life, made my life a living hell, and he ruined wrestling. Get him out of here.
These fucking people that are like, oh, well, you telling me that, at the same time that this happened, they're filming Wrestling with Shadows? Yeah, motherfucker. You know why they did that? Is to get it out there that, okay, wrestling is like this like crazy shit. You should be watching wrestling essentially. So let's fuck over our main talent. And you know what? It's in the contract, Bret. Sorry, you signed this. We have to televise it. They fucked him on that. And then you know what? I'm sure they had to sit down and said, look, Bret, I know that this looks bad on paper, but don't worry. You're going to make a lot of money in WCW. Don't worry. Your brand is still intact. Everybody loves you, Bret. You're still a babyface. You're good to go. So I know that they sold them on it, guaranteed. But don't fucking tell me that like Bret Hart was in on it. Bullshit. He was not.
It could still have been a work. Bret just wasn't in on it.
Yeah, exactly. That's my point. That's my point.
That's true.
Well, gentlemen, I don't blame how you feel at all, bro. If I was Bret, I wouldn't drop the Shawn, bro. Especially after what Shawn said.
We could have a whole podcast episode of this discussion.
I can't wait. But I think we all have unanimously found a clip that I'm going to post on Twitter later today night. This is that. I think we've all found that clip because nothing's going to beat what that just was. I might have to make that a 2 or 3 parter.
Appreciate that. Dynamite COVID Kid is bringing it tonight. Go figure.
Oh, that was great. Well, we got Mountie who had a nice rant. Sean's had a few. Now we just need me, Malik, Conrad, and Mark to have one.
Where's Rambo? Is he all right?
He said he lost connection.
Yeah. That's the internet's way of saying that he just nailed you in the back with a chair and he's joining our side.
Yeah. Okay. Okay.
We refer to him as Mark Rollins.
No.
Let's do that one, and then I would do this guy next.
What you thinking, Sean?
I'm down, man. It's a point in the draft where it's like you really can't get it wrong. All right,
Can't get it wrong.
All right. With our next pick in the draft, I'm thinking about this person's overall career. And we didn't pick him sooner, probably because he was also a great babyface. But when he was a heel, this dude was the ultimate D-bag, preaching
So entertaining.
very preachy, and he would just make people mad. We are talking about Chicago's own CM Punk.
Yeah, I brought him up earlier, but it was a little too early. Funny thing is, when Mountie said we're going with someone who has the balls to say things, no one else had the balls to say. I thought that's who you got. I thought you guys who you're going with.
Well, he's definitely another guy out there that I really admire for speaking his mind, because it's like you just can't hold that guy back. You can't. And I love that. I feel like, and maybe I'm crazy and maybe I'm reaching. I feel it's a fact that this guy is completely straight edge or whatever. Like, I mean, unless like Jeff Hardy doesn't think so because he was on like prescription drugs. But you remember that? But anyways, like, but I feel like a lot of people in this world use alcohol or drugs or whatever to suppress a lot of their feelings a lot of the time, because they don't really want to talk about certain things and whatever. And this guy just, I don't know, maybe there's no correlation between the two, but I feel like it kind of it makes it come out a little bit more. He's very vocal. He gets very personal, very sensitive individual. It feels like,
Bro,
but every fucking word he says, I want to listen. Every single thing he says. And you know what the difference is, dude? The difference between Cornette and CM Punk, in my opinion, is sometimes I feel that Jim Cornette talks because he likes the sound of his own voice.
Absolutely.
And I feel like it kind of goes in that direction. If he gets a rise out of somebody and they're laughing, he'll ride on that coattail of his own coattail and just keep like snowballing off of that. And then it's like, okay, now you've gotten off track. Like, now I don't know if I should believe you. But I feel like CM Punk, I feel like a lot of his stuff, it may come off as whiny or whatever, but I feel like it's always the truth. And maybe I'm wrong, but I really feel like that separates him from like a Jim Cornette or somebody else. Like even Heyman. I love listening to Heyman speak. I don't fucking listen, and Bruce Pritchard too. I don't listen, and I do listen, but I always take what they're saying with a grain of salt. They're full of shit half the time, but I feel like CM Punk, he's got too much pride to be full of shit. That's my opinion. I love CM Punk. I think
CM Punk is also the last person right now in wrestling that if you heard that music or saw that name flash on the Tron, I am going to go nuts. Like if somebody has their phone on me recording, I don't care if it's WWE, AEW, New Japan, I'm going to lose it once I see him come back out.
And you know what? And I feel like it's going to happen. I'm calling it now going into 2021. I don't know if it's this year, but it's going to happen, guys. In the next few years, I'm telling you, it will happen. It's coming. It's coming. It's coming. And I hope that he's got enough pride to be like, if we're going to do this, it's going to be the absolute right way, like the Hardys when they came back, super silent, you know. I don't want to see, if he ever does come to WWF, if they fucking say CM Punk returns on Monday Night Raw, I'm gonna like break my TV.
You know what's funny? You brought that up. Now, mind you, my brother and my cousin, they don't even watch wrestling anymore, but when they saw CM Punk came out, because they didn't know the Fox backstage show wasn't WWE. They saw CM Punk. Now CM Punk back. I'm gonna have to start watching again. Like, yeah.
Yeah, he's legit.
Dude, he's got the captivation to make fans come back and watch. Man, the guys that did leave for whatever reason, and they did, like that would break the internet and it would break wrestling industry, man. Like, and I feel like, this is my own personal opinion. No, you don't have to agree with me. I feel like it would be somewhat not wasted, but I feel like if he's going to make his return, I'm not saying he doesn't have to go to these other promotions, but to make his return, it's got to be either AEW or it's got to be WWE. You got to make your return with these big ass promotions right now, and then you can kind of go and do your thing and Ring of Honor or like whatever he wants to do. I just hope. I mean, I don't know what the fuck. He doesn't give a shit what I think, but like, I think that is the way to go. If you're gonna make a big splash, do it the right way, man. AEW or WWE, one of those two, and I'm telling you, like, great things will definitely come if you return to one of those promotions.
Uh-huh.
So that's our
All
pick.
right. Yeah, that was we've been rambling more than half our picks sometimes. All right, Malik, go ahead because
Great draft. That's why.
go ahead, Malik. Go wherever because that's a good pick.
What pick we on? Number.
15.
Yeah, we're
With the 15th pick we're taking another female who I think is one of the best heels ever. True heel heat. Anytime she was on television, to me, I want her off my television. I couldn't stand her at the times. All I need to say is, excuse me. We're taking Vicky Guerrero.
That's how good of a heel Vicky was. She had heat just by saying 2 words.
Facts.
I think that's another. I think Vicky is another reason we hated Edge so much as kids because
yeah.
because of how Edge was, especially how he was winning on SmackDown with Vicky's help. I used to hate him.
My boyfriend, my boyfriend Edge.
No, that's where one of the funniest segments ever was when Edge wanted the divorce. That segment still had cracked me up to this very day.
Did you guys saw all my picks there? We should nail some of those ones as well, man.
Yeah. I say we let. It's up to Sean what he wants to do. I say to me, it's between.
I'm gonna call Mark on the phone to see what's going on.
I think he's having technical issues, I think.
Yeah, but this long?
Let's just go back to back with those two.
Take it, Sean.
All right, here we go, man. We're talking about
You
that's
gotta love
all right, but okay. I think we have all right. We're talking about the 1980s again. We're talking about a really charismatic guy. Actually, he was kind of like the number one heel in the industry, and like at that time, like he was like the number one heel in the business, at least for a little bit of a 6-month stretch. Main evented the first WrestleMania.
With another amazing heel of all time.
Exactly, that was mentioned earlier. Main evented a lot of Saturday night main events, including a cage match for the title against Hogan. And was ironically Andre the Giant's backup emergency plan if his back did not work out for WrestleMania.
Yep.
I forgot about that.
Mr. Wonderful, Paul Orndorff.
I had him in mind.
He was underrated as hell, man.
Yes,
I loved his heel work in WCW too. I know a lot of people
dude.
don't remember that. I thought he was a great tag team partner, great heel, and
he elevated Paul Roman.
Oh yeah,
and he beat up Vader one time in flip flops. So don't mess.
Pretty wonderful, wasn't it?
Yeah,
and I really enjoyed that team.
Me too, man, dude. Like
that was him and Paul Roma, right?
We talked about tag teams. We forgot about those two, bro. I don't think they made the list.
Pretty Wonderful was pretty good. I didn't mean to make it sound like that.
I think when you think of Paul Roma, though, I think of the same team Sean thinks of first. It's that Powerplex.
Yes.
So Malik, you want to announce this? You want me to do it?
I'll do it. So with our 16th overall pick, we're taking another great heel, especially from our generation. I absolutely hate this guy so much. I couldn't stand him. Love him as a babyface, but overall as a heel, he was a great heel for his time period. We're taking royalty. We're taking King Booker.
I like him.
Queen, where's my wallet?
Oh hell no!
Let's go a little bit no huddle. Because it's getting kind of late. I'm an old dude. All right. Next up on our list, one of the best heels of all time. 1994 was his year. I think he could have won the title at SummerSlam 94. I think it would have been a great story for him to beat his brother. It went a different route. He left us way too soon. Never became world champion, but he is one of the greatest of all time. And why he's not in the Hall of Fame, I think it might be his wife is still upset.
We all know it's because of Martha.
Yeah, I guess it is.
Yeah.
But all due respect and much love to the late, great Rocket, King of Hearts, Owen Hart.
The Black Heart.
Woo! I'm a black heart, damn it.
I am not a nugget. I am not a nugget.
He was great, man. Fuck, he was so good as a heel.
He really was. I really think, I swear, this is what they should have did. They should, if they weren't going to have Owen win at SummerSlam, they should have had Owen win at Survivor Series. Granted, Survivor Series, that was one of his greatest moments. But he should have won the title at Survivor Series. And then he and Brett should have been at WrestleMania 11 for the title.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They probably weren't.
I believe
I think the problem was they didn't want to job Owen out like they did Backlund.
I believe wholeheartedly that Owen not winning the title before the conclusion of 1994 was a mistake.
'94 was definitely his year. He should have been champion at some point that year.
Yeah.
All right, Malik. You know what? That's a good. You make a good point. So you go with that. I'm fine with that.
Which one?
The
guy.
Yeah, the guy.
All right, with our 17. With our 17th pick, we're taking another guy who was one of the best heels back in his day. We're gonna speed up a little bit. We're taking Harley Race.
Excellent pick.
One of only.
Yeah, that was ours.
Yeah, one of only 2 men Andre the Giant was afraid of.
I kind of, I kind of like him. By the way, talking to my team.
Hey, listen, I how many guys on our list so far that I like? There's a lot. There's a lot that I like.
You know what? I'm gonna leave this pick up to you, man. I think we had a lot of stuff on.
Yeah, I mean, look,
think we go with who I put next to Owen.
Do it,
Flash.
Do it.
No, please do it.
You guys good with that name?
Dude, we can't go wrong. We can't go wrong.
Guys, let's go back to 1997 and remember Owen's brother, Bret the Hitman Hart, as the original whiny, complaining, but so talented heel. Bret the Hitman Hart was absolutely as a heel. Did a great job. And babyface in Canada, love it. It just worked for the times back then. It was great.
Another heel who was justified. Okay, number 18. This is one of my favorites of all time. I think we all love this guy, but this run as a heel is my favorite run of a heel. It was too short. We're going back in 2003, and we're going to go with Hollywood Rock, the best version of The Rock. I will not hear anything you have to say about it. That is the best version of The Rock. That's the funniest, most entertaining version of The Rock, and I will not hear anything else. Hollywood Rock.
You don't have to limit it to that. Like, all that corporate stuff is included. The Rock. That's a great.
Yeah, it is. Especially when he nearly killed Mick Foley at Royal Rumble.
The Rock is a good pick for sure. Let's see here.
What was your last pick, guys? I forgot.
Harley Race.
Thank you.
By the way, Eddie, what you just threw out there, I love. I don't know how Conrad feels. A matter of fact, that leapfrogs every other pick in my opinion.
I think it might have. I don't know. I think it's right there. It's right there. It's at right time, man.
Right now.
I think you go that route, especially what we heard earlier. I think at this late stage in the draft, that's a tremendous pick.
Right.
Take it.
Okay. So, bro, I picked number 18, I think, right?
Yeah.
So, Main Event Mafia always does it right. We always do it the perfect way.
With a steal, by the way, in my opinion.
No, this is a super steal, and I feel like it should have been higher up on the chain. You talked about Vince McMahon. You talked about what an amazing heel that he helped bring his company to new heights, to new levels. This particular individual was on the other side of his competition and nearly fucking put WWE out of business. People hated this guy. They hated the fact that he sided with, he was the golden WCW guy, that pretty boy. He looked like Ken doll, like a little guy, a guy like you'd have over for dinner one day. And then all of a sudden, boom, he just turns his back on the whole organization and then just fucking almost runs WWE into the ground. We're talking about Eric Bischoff.
Eric Bischoff at number 18 is a steal.
I brought him up before.
I'm back.
That's better than ever. I swear, one of my biggest what ifs to me is, what if WCW had let had let DX in that night? I really want to know what would have happened.
That'd been crazy.
I'd have let him in. I would have had to.
You know what though? I like where Kyron's going, because WCW everybody would have turned to WCW.
That's why they should have did it. Think about it. You've been watching Raw. DX goes in. You're turning Nitro on to see what's about to happen.
They should have worked together.
Yeah, they should have did something. It would have brought ratings like crazy, bro. Like ratings.
Oh yeah.
There should have been a point where all parties involved said, you know what? One of us is going to win. One of us is going to lose. Why don't we both win?
Let's all make some money here. Exactly.
Yeah, but then again, you saw how the invasion worked. Vince wasn't keen in work and making WCW look good. All right, Malik, go ahead.
Money for me.
Go ahead, Malik. Go ahead. I already wrote her name down. Go ahead, take it, Malik.
All right, we're taking, I believe, one of the best female heels of all time. I don't think people appreciate her work enough. We're taking Stephanie McMahon. Fantastic.
The reason I can tell you, Malik, the reason why people don't like she's a great heel. Here's why people don't like her.
Say it.
What-
Tell him.
What made Vince McMahon such a good heel was that he always got his comeuppance. No matter what, Austin always would either stun him or make him look miserable. Through 2015 to really 2018, how many times did Stephanie really get real comeuppance?
Never. She would go around slapping everybody in the ring, everybody in the arena, and never would get any payback ever.
In fact, one of the only times that she did, she was actually a face because the McMahons were faces and Randy Orton was the heel of the company. That's when she got a little bit of something. And ironically, she was a face.
I can count on probably one hand as the authority from 2015 to 2018 how many times Stephanie got comeuppance.
Never.
I can name a few. When Reigns speared her, when Rollins put her through the table, which was both accidents, but they count. When Ronda beat her at WrestleMania 34. And yeah, that's about it.
Well, for me, it made me sick because you thought that she would get a comeuppance against Brie Bella when she got arrested, but then, for God's sakes, Brie Bella's twin sister turns on her and aligns with Stephanie.
I want to say a line from that feud so bad, but I won't
say that line. Please don't, Conrad.
That line was so cringe. That was so bad.
Yeah, we all know what line you're talking about. Can we just not say that?
Like, I was like borderline like in love with Stephanie. Like, I thought Stephanie's character was so dope, but like, when you grow up and you realize how the business works, she never, ever got what she deserved. Never.
And like, I'm talking about the authority now. Granted, back in the early show, she got pedigree by.
I'm talking about 2015 and moving forward.
Yeah, same. That's the main reason why people don't like Stephanie McMahon. It was brought up. Brian Zane brought it up when he made his video on the authority the other day. Like, that was the biggest problem people had with Stephanie. Like, that's what made Vince work. Vince. Think about it. Look at the stuff Austin put Vince through. Like, Vince knew to make every wrestler look good, to make McMahon has to like a fool and take a fall every now and then. Stephanie never did. That's why people don't like Stephanie.
All right, we're going next. I like the person without covering. That's my pick.
Are you talking about the one you wrote?
Yep.
Yep, me too. Let's just pick it. Screw it. Next pick in the draft, we are going to take the Golden Gopher, Brock Lesnar.
For more reasons than one. 03, 04, he was a heel on and then as you move later in his career, he was a heel for real life, kind of like he never shows up. He only wrestles 4 times a year. It all works.
I wanted Brock mainly because of what he did to Zach Gowen.
Right. That's
that was
legendary, bro.
Stuff was great. And then if you move forward in his career, he never shows up. He only wrestles 4 times a year. He's a part-time champion. We hate his guts. Blah, blah, blah.
All right, go ahead, Malik.
You cool with that pick?
Yeah, I'm cool with it.
All right, with our next pick, we're taking another guy who could be a very good babyface and a very good heel. And his heel run in 05, I think, was spectacular. We're taking Eddie Guerrero.
Yeah, that was a good pick. I was gonna pitch that one to the boys, and I just kept not doing it.
What number pick are we on?
You're on number 20.
We're on 20, so
like what I'm about to double check.
We got like 6 picks left, even though we're on 20.
I'm about to click the pick that I think we should go with.
Oh yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
That's what I'm kind of saying right there. I mean,
yes, and hold on. I'm putting the last 5 that I think right here. Well, let's see if somebody can come up with whoever else. Let's make that pick right now, though.
Do it.
Yeah.
The next pick in the draft, we have to take someone who is able to laugh at themselves, be funny, but at the same time be an athlete. We had to see this man talk about being an Olympic hero. We had to see this man get his head shaved while wearing a headpiece in the ring after that. Kurt Angle, Stone Cold, the McMahon segments, just funny. Kurt Angle, one of the funniest heels of all time, but still someone that you despised at the same moment too.
The reason why Kurt Angle is number 2 on my list because of he's hilarious. All right, so number 21. I wasn't the biggest fan of this guy, but for this late in the draft, I think it's a good pick. He was Mid card in WCW, he was a jobber in WWE, but in ECW, he was a main eventer. And we're gonna go with Raven.
Yeah, you know, they've been my team has been Conrad has been pitching that to me, and I never bid. I'm like, no, I don't fucking care. So I understand what you're saying.
Not even that. Let me just tell you, ECW Raven was an SOB, bro.
Yeah.
He had the Sandman's son turn on him. The kid was like, I don't love you anymore, Daddy. I love Raven now.
Oof.
Like, come on,
the main reason I want to Raven from ECW because of that. And
yeah,
I'm not trying
Daddy, I don't love you anymore. I love Raven.
I'm not trying to offend anyone who's a Christian, but we already that Sandman thing was to me was worse than what Taker did to Austin. Look, it went silent.
As a Christian, it's uncomfortable to watch. As a wrestling fan, I get it.
Even as I'm not a Christian. I was uncomfortable watching that.
Well, I'm just saying, as a Christian, I was uncomfortable. As a wrestling fan, it was good television.
It also was controversial. I mean, Kurt Angle walked out. He threatened to sue.
Can I ask you guys a question? Mad random off topic. Did you feel the same way about the symbol?
Yes.
Me? Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
With Austin and all them, like when he was hanging them on it, and
honestly,
I'll put it to you like this. I feel like it was a little bit better is the wrong word, but it's the only thing I could think of. It was a little bit better, less heart-wrenching as a Christian to see the Undertaker symbol because excuse me, it was the Undertaker symbol. The whole Raven Sandman thing was literally like a depiction of the cross that Jesus.
The halo with barbed wire was too much.
That's the reason.
They took it to a level where it was like literally they, like you just said, the halo with the thorns. That's biblical. The Undertaker symbol's not. I'm not getting too deep into it, but if I were to pick one, both of them made me feel uncomfortable. The ECW deal was a bit much. Same,
and this comes from was not a Christian, so I'm looking at the perspective from you, Sean. For me, the Austin Taker one, it was just like whatever. Like it doesn't really, it just like whatever. But the Sandman Raven one, it just went to another level because of the thorns. He was bleeding, and the fact that the ECW arena, which is one of the most rowdy crowds, went silent.
Guys, I want my guy so bad. I can't.
Yeah, let's do it. That's fine. I'm cool with it.
Is that cool, Conrad?
I'm going to give you my last four.
I just have the next three. I think we should do.
Everybody do the last four.
All right, great. I'm really lobbying for this guy, and I'm glad my teammates are. Some people say the greatest face of all time. I say the greatest attraction of all time. Just that's just words. Depends on how you want to word it. I say greatest attraction. You say greatest face. Whatever. 2001 Alliance. Stone Cold Steve Austin. Heel personified. Turns. Gets with Vince. No matter how you feel about it, doesn't really matter. It worked. Then again, it didn't work, but it was him being booed out of the building every single night. Stone Cold Steve Austin. For this time in the draft, what pick is this?
21, is it?
21. Us picking 21. Austin feels right to me. It's late enough in the draft. It makes sense.
I think Steve Austin was a great heel too in WCW. Like put all his work into it too. Yeah. The television title reigns he had, the U.S. title reigns against Ricky the Dragon Steamboat.
Yes,
he was great. He was still a good heel.
Yes.
I mean, Austin 01 heel Austin. I have good and bad. I think he was hilarious in that role, but I don't agree with Turn. I would never agree with Turn to Austin Hill. I think that was the dumb. Vince only did it because he could.
Wow. Who's that? Eddie? Yeah. Wow. The last name you just picked is unbelievable.
We got to. Like, there's a couple of them in there like that I could do without, but there's a few that I don't. Conrad, I don't. I think if we, I'll be honest with you. I'll keep it 100. If we expand the list, those guys are there.
No. I got to go this way. I'm up in the air about a lot of those names, but there's two names that stick out.
You guys are debating, we got our next pick. In. So
go ahead.
God, you want to do it, Malik? Okay, you want me to do it?
Oh, sorry, boss. Yeah.
How many picks we got left after this one?
After this, we had 3 left.
Yeah.
3 left. Okay, so with our 22nd pick, 23rd.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
We're taking another fantastic heel. He had a great run before he ended up leaving. He had one of the best lines I've ever heard a heel say when he told John Cena, all you do is kiss babies and hug fat girls. We're taking Batista.
Kissing babies and hugging fat girls.
Yo, Batista the heel was funny.
That was good shit.
Hey, oh my
I
god!
would even say the best line of Batista's heel run when he grabbed Rey Mysterio.
I was gonna bring
What are you doing? You're hurting me. I was like, yes, do it. Do it.
No, once again, Conrad, it wasn't just that. It was the fact that he literally looked at him and said, Ray, I'll be ready to get head off. He waited 3 whole seconds and clotheslined the hell out of him.
Guys, that big man that's in the chat right now dominated the industry for a year and a half.
100%. That's why we got to go with him. We got to go with it.
I'm with it 100%. And I'm sad that I'm actually mad at myself that I didn't think about him earlier.
Yeah, let's pick him now then.
Mountie.
Yeah. Me? Yeah, sure.
Yeah, you.
Okay. Pick number 22. Dude, this was we talked about some big names tonight. Big names. Very hard to say sometimes when you're done a draft. You're like, shit. That guy was not 22. He should have been 12, and this guy shouldn't have been 15. He probably was 18. Whatever. This guy, like Sean said, dominated the industry. The amount of pops that were heard around the world when he would be knocked off his feet was unbelievable to this day. Mesmerizing to watch. You couldn't keep your eyes he had an Andre the Giant feel, but he wasn't as tall as him, but he was a big boy. We're going with Yoko.
Let me add one thing that's going to blow your mind. In my mind, for a year and a half, the best leg drop in the business.
Yeah, it was solid, man. I mean, when he would give that leg drop, you're like, Dan, that person's dead. So
Bonza.
we already knew it. We're going with Yokozuna, man. You can't have a list of top heels and not have Yokozuna in the mix. You can't.
Wonderful pick at this stage in the draft.
Yeah, that's a good pick at this point, yeah.
All right. With our next pick, we're going to take somebody a little more recent. And I think we're going to put him on here because we're going to show some love to him. Very recent, very good heel run he had legit heel heat. He felt like a true heel, like a true natural heel for the first time in a long time, to me. We're taking Tommaso Ciampa.
You know you have good heel heat when you come out to an arena with no music and all you hear is boos, you suck, and fuck you, Ciampa. Ciampa, yeah.
It was a great heel turn too.
Yeah.
But his Twitter was on fire, calling the title Goldie. Like,
yeah.
In this day and age, to have an unforgettable heel turn or a unforgettable heel stretch is not easy. And he, in my opinion, obviously, like Roman Reigns is doing some great shit right now, but like, like I'm talking like since like I don't even know, man. Like his heel work was up there, and the last time that I actually really cared about a guy's heel work was before him. Dude, I don't even know. I mean, to be honest with you, probably Randy Orton in 2009.
Isn't it weird? I feel the same way, kind of, though, when it comes to Ciampa. Like, I think Ciampa and Johnny Gargano is a top 5 feud. I really just wish they got the final match. But I blame that on stupid call-ups that shouldn't have happened and wasting people's...
The call-ups, COVID, and the final beat. I love the cinematic matches, but one thing NXT was not good this year was cinematic matches. The final beat between those two wasn't anything great. And that Velveteen Dream, Adam Cole Backlot Brawl was disappointing. Like... And maybe it's just me, but I thought both those two cinematic matches. I mean, the final beat wasn't bad, but mainly due to it was on regular TV, so you got these many commercials. It kind of threw it off to me, and it definitely didn't feel like the end of a feud that I cared about for almost 4 whole years. So, it's you guys go, isn't it?
Yeah. What is this? What number is this?
23.
Those are my last 3, but of course it's debatable.
I think that middle one's the one we're going to be going back and forth on after this. But you guys are good with that pick then next.
Yes.
Yeah, I would do it. I
All
would
right.
do it for sure. And then after that, I would go with these two personally.
Guys, you can have your Ric Flairs, your Dusty Rhodes,
Nice.
and the rest of your draft team, and they can all kiss my ass. I am taking the franchise Shane Douglas as one of the most despicable
Oh, dude.
pieces of shit heels ever. When he beat Al Snow with a broken hand, do you know how pissed I was? That was like, how did this dude win and his hand was broke? Come
No,
on,
but, dude. This guy had arguably one of the best promos in history. Like we're talking, like this was the pipe bomb before a pipe bomb existed.
You know, I've always heard that
ECW
promo.
promo, buddy.
The crazy thing about me is this: I've always heard about that promo, but I've never watched it.
Dude, you need to watch it tonight.
Watch it. Watch it.
You need to watch it, bro. It's
Do it
so
right
good.
now. Do it as soon as we get off.
Kyrie,
It's
Kyrie,
worth the 10
imagine
minutes or whatever it was.
You know, Nick Aldis is the NWA champion. That belt that they say is so prestigious that everyone brags about. Shane Douglas took that belt and threw it on the ground and said, I would rather be the ECW. I don't know if it was a real double cross. I don't know what happened with that, but that made ECW. Like that night, it was like, yo, ECW is it, bro.
No, like I heard about it. I know about the promo. I know what he did. I just never watched it.
Check it out.
With our next pick, we're taking another guy who was a really good heel, a guy who I personally respected more throughout his longevity of his career. Wasn't really crazy about him at first, but he's improved so much. Great on the mic, great in the ring, great natural heel. Made the Intercontinental Championship feel important when he had it. We're taking The Miz.
Yeah, that's a good pick right there.
The fact that the Miz went this long without getting picked, I mean,
I think
that talking smack promo.
I think the Miz is a good pick for the 20s.
Yeah, I agree. I kind of feel like he's in that right spot right now. Like he actually almost pretty much didn't make our list, and that says something. It's not a shot at him. It's just that he's, I don't know, man. For some reason, he just didn't have that same oomph as maybe the other picks that we decided to go with.
I feel like Miz and Dolph Ziggler and that, like, they lost steam.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's all it is, really.
I mean, I think really they missed the boat. Miz, if they were ever going to put the W title back on Miz, it should have been that 2016.
2016. Yeah, man, that was the time. That was the big time. They should have made him Money in the Bank winner back then, and I would have really cared about it. When he busted that promo on Daniel Bryan on Talking Smack, right?
That was
epic. That was epic, man.
That made Talking Smack must-watch TV.
Buddy, it hasn't been the same since that promo. It was never the same.
Never.
It was never the same.
I mean,
you could never top that. You could never top that.
In 2017, he had a good run too, because I remember when he ripped Rock, when he ripped Cena and Roman in the ring too. That was like.
I gotta be honest with you. I wouldn't mind. Of course, 16 and 17 were much better runs than right now. Now that he has the briefcase back, it wouldn't bother me if he kind of like underhandedly won the title again.
Me either. I won when he first started cashing it. I want him to win. I was like, I want to see him.
It wouldn't bother me at all. It wouldn't bother me at all.
I think I don't know. They kind of wasted money in the bank.
I think he deserves.
I'll save my thought for another time.
At this stage in his career, I think he deserves.
I don't know. I'm one of the people feel like they really wasted money in the bank this year. It just doesn't feel special. I mean, this has been a long time coming through multiple years of Money in the Bank. It hasn't felt special to me. I mean, let's be honest. Even though I love the Money in the Bank match they had this year because I thought it was hilarious, it really had its problems too. And then you have neither Oscar who won and Otis who won cash in because Oscar got a title the next night because Becky was pregnant, and then you have Otis hold a briefcase for a long time, do nothing with it, and they drop the Miz, and Miz just doesn't win his cash in, just gets it back. Like, I just don't care about Money in the Bank right now.
Well,
I'm gonna say after everything I've seen, that's what I'm willing to go with.
it's tough, man. I'm really pissed that like I only have
that name. Like I can hear the boos as soon as I hear that music hit too.
Yeah, in all promotions, really.
Mm-hmm.
That's the interesting part.
Either one, man. So it's on.
I say go with the big man.
Yeah.
Yeah, me too.
All right. Our 24th pick. It's time. It's Theta. Time.
Dude, this guy, like in WCW, man, like he had some of the best fucking He was the top heel of the company.
Bro.
You can't deny that.
Bro, it was just the anniversary. They caused a riot in Japan when he beat Antonio Inoki in a match in like a 3-minute squash. Bro, the fans started throwing things and they were banned from like Corgan Hall for years.
Bro.
Oh man. I mean, yeah, you know how great Vader was in WCW, and we know what happened in WWE. I mean,
Yeah. It's super surprising to me, man.
I'm thinking about it. Speech.
That's why I did that. That's why I did that tweet that one day. It was like, what was the biggest waste? What was the bigger waste? Bret Hart in WCW or Vader in WWF? You gotta really think of that.
Bret Hart.
I've always said Shawn Michaels is one of my favorites for more reasons than one. Number one, I think he's the greatest in-ring performer of all time. Number two, the fact that he turned his life around and accepted Jesus Christ. But I always will look at him as being a bad guy, and the fact that he basically destroyed Vader's career.
Move, you piece of shit.
I want you to realize something. Vader has ruined Shawn Michaels has ruined Vader's career, and he was the prick that fucking sent off Bret Hart to WCW, and that didn't work out either. So fuck Shawn Michaels. He should be like number 4 or number 3 in this list.
Well, that's why we got him when we did
real life heat. Not forget the character. Real dick.
They really made Vader say.
You guys have Randy Orton and Shawn Michaels on your list. Like, you guys have a bunch of assholes. Like, you know, Malik and Kyron, you're both dicks.
Wait, I gotta say it. He said, I made the biggest mistake of my life. I tried to look me up so big.
I'm just a piece of shit. I'm just a fat piece of shit.
No, that's the part that makes me laugh. It's not even that. It's the fact that they made him say, oh, look at me, I'm so big. That's the part that kills me.
I love the fact that you remember that, Kyron, man.
It's one of my favorite. All right, let me do this last one, Malik, because you've been. All right.
Are we
Our
taking
final
it?
pick. Yeah, I think we
Malik wants to go and get his Hot Pockets, his midnight snack here. Fuck.
Which one are we taking? We got 2 options.
I just told you we take. I thought we was going with Oh, I didn't see you notice him. I think we need to go with him though. I think that's who we got to go with.
All right, last pick, eh?
Thank you.
Think about it. He was a top heel in 2 different promotions.
But the other guy, he made a lot of people's careers though.
Yeah, but I thought about him earlier, but I think my guy, especially because
We're talking pepperoni or deluxe.
like dude was a top, like he was the top heel. Oh God, he was the top heel in 2 promotions with that world champion. I think he should be there, Malik.
I have a hard time with it, Conrad. Just a little bit of a hard time. Like, this is a list, man. Top 25.
Yeah, Malik.
What would those guys' career be without him?
I don't think he makes an all-time list, Conrad.
Yeah, I don't deny that.
I think he makes a top 50, and I think he's in between that like 25 to 35 range. But
you know what? Because those 3 are legends, and because it's not even just those 3, it's 2 other people I can bring up. I'll give you that one. Okay.
What about dude?
Yeah,
like,
I think he made. I mean, he you know. So we taking the.
okay? I know this is an audible. Sorry to cut you off, fellas.
All right, with our last pick, I think this is a great fight. I think this is a steal pick, actually, a great last pick. We're taking a guy who's one of the greatest managers of all time, and I'm a little ashamed that we're picking this last. He made people's careers. 3 guys in particular. What would they be without this guy? We're taking the late great Paul Bearer.
I thought you were gonna go with like Mr. Fuji or like.
No, he made Undertaker, Mankind, Kane. What would their careers be without Paul Bearer?
You could throw Vader. You could throw what's his name? You could throw Goldust in there in a way, but yeah, Paul Bearer made a lot.
Those 3 were like the main, like you know.
It's a really good pick, but for me, I don't know. Like, I guess my mind as soon as you said that, I went to like Mr. Fuji and like maybe Freddie Blassie or something like that. I don't know. That's me. But you have a good argument though. You have a really good argument for sure.
I think Paul Bear's, his heel turn on the Undertaker at SummerSlam '96 was great. Like it was such a swerve. Granted, I wasn't around back then, so I gotta ask you guys. Like you were swerved when you didn't see it coming, did you?
No.
Exactly.
Oh man. Yeah, I think
What
it's
do
a
you
great.
think? Sean, I'm going to let you decide if I mean, look, I have my pick for number 50 or whatever, 25, and then Conrad has his pick, and they're both, in my opinion, really good picks. What do you think? Do you like one of the two, or do you want to have or do you have another pick that you want to, and then we could discuss which one we like the most?
I have another pick, but I don't want to throw it out there because I don't think it's as good as these two picks. So, one I don't think is good enough. I mean, one I don't think has
Right now, at this point in life, I don't think he's there yet. I don't disagree with you, Conrad. I think he's on his way
I don't think he's the best heel in the business at the
right
moment.
now. And that's what I'm saying. I don't think he is either.
I'll save my stories for another time.
I would go like this. If you want to go that route, I would go here. If you want to talk modern day, I would go this.
There's a problem. He's not supposed. He's a face.
Well, that's the reason why I would go this route then. I said this a half hour ago.
That's tough too, though.
He's a face too.
They're all tough at pick number 50. You know what? Let's just go old school.
I'll take it. It's a half a dub. It's a half a dub.
I almost feel like
I want this quote to come up one day though in the chat what I said. Just remember that. Take a screenshot of it.
He's a top 5 in 2020, but he's only been relevant in 2020.
I think I know what they're talking about, Malik.
I do too.
All right.
Look,
We don't.
does this matter to you? My
No.
latest? No,
I don't
It
care
really
about
doesn't
that.
matter. Are you sure?
Yeah,
Yes.
because I don't
I'm
feel like
here.
I have to pick somebody. If they were there, I would have taken one of them. But
No.
are you sure about this? You're
I
talking.
love you, my brother. I love you, my brother. No.
Well, I got to hear this. I can't wait.
This goes back to the 2 a.m. story again. Here we go. Everything comes full circle. All right,
You
man.
guys-
Look,
you guys-
make the pick. Make the pick.
Go ahead.
But I want to mention an honorable mention after because
I want to hear what it is.
crime. It's a crime that this didn't make the list. It's a crime. Go ahead. I'm not making it. No.
go ahead, Sean. It's you.
No.
One of you, maybe. Come on now.
All right.
Well,
Well,
be here all night.
a lot of people have a lot of fun with him because he was a man.
He was a
such
man.
man. But if you think about his run as TV champion at WCW, you think about his run as a blue blood, you think about his run as the
Commissioner.
Alliance commissioner, he was really good for a long time as a heel.
He really
One of
is.
the greatest heels ever, and now has turned into a really cool figure in wrestling. As far as his respect that he's earned over the years. So not like 20, 30 years in the
And he's still awesome on screen.
Yeah, he's
as his
great.
role.
especially when he says the words war games. So
He's the best. He's the best fucking GM right now.
respect to the OG, man.
Never forget his my favorite thing he used to say, "You manga." That was my all-time
Manga.
manga.
So respect to the OG, our last pick, our Mr. Irrelevant as the football.
William-
player,
Good pick.
William.
It's a good pick. It's a good pick. That's a really good pick.
That's a great pick.
I like
Oh,
when-
man.
All
Okay,
right,
who
so
was the guy? Who was
go
the
ahead.
guy?
All right, here we go.
Who we got Mountie wanted? Who's the guy who Mountie wanted?
What I wanted was Fabulous Moolah.
Oh, that's a hill in more ways than one.
Dude, I mean, like the fact that didn't make either one of our lists to me is sacrilege. Like,
I didn't even thought about it.
for fuck, guys, like this was arguably the most like dominant, most hated heel woman ever, and she didn't make the list. I'm like, come on. I was like, okay, we're gonna pick her like in the last 10 or something, and I never got a chance to. I was
Wait.
like, shit.
That's a good pick. Why didn't Sean and Conrad want that?
That's way
I
better
don't
than
know.
Regal.
I
That's way
don't
better than
know.
Regal. That's way better than Regal.
That's way better than Regal. And I
That's what
love
I'm
Regal.
saying, man.
Time out.
It's more.
Time
It's
out.
more. It's more personal. It's more personal.
Was Fabulous Moolah really a heel?
Yes.
Oh yeah,
Yes.
Yes.
In real life
Oh, yeah.
and in the
In
ring.
real life and
Yes.
in real life. Yes.
Dude, buddy.
I think
Fuck.
Definitely,
I messed up.
I was gonna go somewhere else. She definitely was. I did not want her either, but she was definitely a heel.
Exactly.
No, she
Why-
was a heel
Best
some of
heel
the
ever.
time, though. She was not a heel all the time.
No one on this list was a heel all the time except probably Ted DiBiase.
No, but here's the thing. I don't hate Fabulous Moolah. Honestly, I'm gonna be truthful. I don't care. I don't care like about her as a
dude.
character. I never
There's a
did.
lot of- there's a lot of people that
For 75 years because there was no one else around.
You know what the
That's a good
problem is with Fabulous, and I think my brother just took the words right out of my mouth. Fabulous Moolah was champion for 114 years because there was nobody else.
That's what I'm saying.
And anytime
That's
there
not
was
her
someone,
fault.
and every time there was someone else, she fucked him over. So
Right.
So to that logic, what? Fucking Bob Backlund is a nobody because there was nobody else at that
Bob
time?
Backlund was good. I like Bob
and Bob
Backlund.
Backlund lost the title.
Bob Backlund in '94 was the reason why I actually considered him for this list.
Bob Backlund actually lost the title to Antonio Inoki. Just thought I bring that up.
But you also a very important thing about this too is that women's wrestling wasn't the same as men's wrestling too. That's why she had the belt for so long because
That's what I'm
women's
saying.
wrestling.
bro.
and
That's what I'm
the
saying.
reason women's wrestling was like that
But
was her.
what makes a
But it
best
wasn't.
heel?
It was still wouldn't have been as
Great
popular.
baby
Women's
face.
She
wrestling
wasn't
wasn't
doing anything to help Malik. She made it worse.
She
But it
didn't
still
have a
wasn't as
great
popular,
baby
bro. You
face.
can't argue that. It wasn't as popular. It wasn't as popular.
Dude,
Yeah,
she
anytime
was
they
an
got someone
icon.
good, she put him down.
She was a
It's
legend.
true, but it still wasn't as popular. Bro.
Legend.
Your argument is valid, bro. But she still wasn't
I'm
as
sorry, hold on,
women's wrestling.
Malik. I got
Women's wrestling was not a serious thing, bro, because it wasn't popular. It wasn't taken as serious
Hold
back
on,
then.
Malik.
How
You
can
can get on.
Fabulous Moolah make any top 25 list when I can name 50 female wrestlers that were more entertaining than she was?
Here's the thing, and I'm going real life stuff because I really don't care right now. Let me explain this to you, Malik. You can talk about Hogan with his politics, Cena, Austin, Triple H, Jeff Jarrett, anyone else, and yet none of them are as bad as Moolah with hers.
Yeah, none of them drugged their freaking wrestlers.
None of them
None
were
of
as
them-
bad, but
none
women's
of them
wrestling
tried to-
it wasn't as
none of them-
popular. It still wasn't as popular, regardless. Whether it wasn't.
Malik,
It
what
wasn't
you're
as popular.
forgetting, what you're realizing is the reason it wasn't. She was a big reason why. Why is that? She didn't train anybody.
She controlled
Anytime-
the game.
She controlled
Vince
the
just
game.
needed talent, and he went to her
She
for the
controlled
talent.
the game. She controlled the game too, but it wasn't. It still wouldn't have been as popular because women's wrestling wasn't looked as the same as men's wrestling back in those days.
That's a good point, Malik, but she didn't do anything to help make it better. Hell,
No.
when Wendy Richter got over, what did she do?
Mountie,
Oh, exactly.
the fact
It
that I
still
don't
wasn't as better, but you look, women's wrestling wasn't as. If you look for years, women's wrestling didn't become a big thing until recent.
And I'm not denying that, Malik, but what I'm saying is, as women's wrestling was not big in the 70s and 80s. But what I'm saying is,
it was
she
big in
did-
it was big in the 70s. It wasn't big in the 80s.
she did everything in her power to make sure it never even went up. Also, don't forget about that time. I don't know their exact names. Remember, I think it was like the Japanese tag team women's champion. Moolah screwed them over.
The Jumping
and
Bomb Angels.
It was the Jumping Bomb Angels.
Who were
Yeah,
awesome,
she
by
did.
the way. Who were awesome, by the way.
So
I'm not
I'm just
saying
saying.
she never held a lot of wrestlers held talent back.
Right.
I'm not saying she never destroyed people's careers or people's lives.
Yeah.
Listen. All of our favorite wrestlers we admit have done messed up stuff. As a Cena fan, yes.
Yeah,
I'm
everybody.
Conrad can bring that up. Shawn Michaels too. What I'm saying is I would say this. None of them legitimately hurt people the way Moolah did. She drugged people. She made them be prostitutes basically. And if they said no, their careers were finished. So
Right. We agree.
which
And
is why
that's-
so that's my whole thing with that.
Part of what we're talking about right now is why I think Mountie also it's kind of feeding into Mountie's point about why she should have made the list. Let me tell you why she shouldn't have made a list. Because yeah, she was an off-screen scumbag.
Terrible person.
I don't like talking ill of the dead, but like there's so many things that have happened. Okay. So that being said, she was the best in the world because there was nobody else.
Yes.
Plain and simple. She was the best in the world because there was nobody else. There was only one woman comparable to her. I think Sherry was better.
Miles better.
Way better. I think Wendy Richter.
Miles better.
But Wendy Richter was at least Miles. I don't know, but I'm with you. Wendy Richter, I'll guarantee you, was more entertaining than Fabulous Moolah.
Yep.
So at the end of the day, Fabulous Moolah. I look at Fabulous Fabulous, and I'm old enough to remember Fabulous Moolah. Her most entertaining run was when she was getting powerbombed through tables by the Dudleys.
Mm-hmm.
It was Mae Young more than her.
And what
Mae
was she
Young
during that time,
So,
Sean?
to be fair, none of
The
us
difference is
none of us were around in her era anyway. So
But no,
No,
but
no.
my point is Wendy Richter. If we're doing a top face draft next week, Wendy Richter, in my opinion, is not making the top 25, whereas Moolah should make the top 25 of a heel of a best heel.
Mounty, my brother, you think, and I know this is a question that you're already answered because that's why you wanted it, but I just want to say it out loud one more time. You think Fabulous Moolah is a top 25 heel talent throughout all gender and all generation?
Yes, I do, and it's just because of the time. Like nobody came close to her on screen at that time, and that was just how it was back then. And you can't, in my opinion, you can't compare. I guess in a weird way the time frames like of a heel now to back then. It was just different time zone. It was just different time eras and everything else. And for Moolah to dominate as a heel for as long as she did, and how she got that crowd hatred, for me, it does allow her to make the list. That's just my opinion on it.
I think another honorable mention. This is someone who we were actually going to pick before we thought about Malik brought up Paul Bear. And I thought Bobby Roode could have made this list. I mean, dude was a top heel and a champion in both TNA and NXT. I thought Bobby Roode could have made the list. MJF was brought up, but
MJF was finally brought up by my comrade Conrad.
Yeah.
I think MJF's heel work, even on the indie scene, is freaking amazing. I'll tell you guys the story after because I can't say it on air. Something he had said, and I was just like, yo.
I didn't think about this guy until Monty said it, but I would have took Freddie Blassie over Paul Bearer. I didn't even think about him, to be honest. I didn't even. He completely passed my mind until he said it. And then after we already made the pick and Mounty said his name, I was like, man, we should have took it because he was.
The thing with me is this is the thing with me with Freddie. I know almost nothing. I don't know enough about Freddie.
There's a disconnect at a certain age group with certain things. Like we talked about superstar Billy Graham. He's probably top 25 for sure, but I don't know Billy Graham enough. I haven't seen enough of his stuff to be like, yes, he should be on here. I've seen more on the Atlas than him.
I think it's because he was going against Bob Backlund and there's a couple of major Dusty Rhodes. I mean, these are big face wrestlers that he was going up against. So that's why, in my opinion, he should have been in there as well. But who are you going to get rid of? You going to get rid of Kurt Angle? Maybe. I mean, like, I don't know.
Here's the thing about superstar Billy Graham, which I think he does deserve a mention in this. He was the first long-term heel champion.
As it relates to the MGF argument, I don't think MGF is the biggest face in the business today. So I couldn't give him the nod. I'm sorry, did I say babyface? The biggest heel in the face today. Heel in the face. I don't think he's the biggest heel in the industry today.
You think it hurts him because of the storylines he's in? Because here's how I see MJF. He does long-term booking. So, like right now, he's doing the Inner Circle stuff. I don't know if you guys have been watching it. He's not playing the heel, but you know not to trust that dude. Like you're like, yo, come on, guys.
Sammy Guevara doesn't trust him.
My point is simply this. He's not the biggest heel in the industry today. So if you're going to go that route at a pick of like 24, 25, I was going to say pick Roman Reigns.
Yeah. I see what you mean. And for me, the biggest thing is, we could have this draft in like 2 years from now, and I'll be like, okay, now he deserves to be here. For me, it's a 10-year thing a little bit.
Right.
And I mean that with respect. Up until now, he's been amazing. Don't get me wrong, 100%. But these guys that are on the list, a lot of them are past their prime. They passed away. I mean, that's my thing. It's like, I feel like they need to prove themselves just a little bit more, have a little bit more of these moments to that way we have this draft in 2, 5, 10 years and be like, you know what? He deserves to be there now. Because like don't forget, guys like, Bret Hart and stuff like that, like you don't really automatically think for him to be in a top heel draft. But then you look back at his stuff, you're like, oh, shit, that was pretty damn good. But like, if you look at Bret Hart in the moment when he's doing the pro Canada anti-American thing, you're like, he's probably not. He's probably not there at that point. But then you wait a couple more years and see his work that he did. You're like, you know what, that was really good. So
and to piggyback off of that analogy, if Joey Baloney, Joe Blow comes out tomorrow as a rookie and has the greatest match in the history of wrestling. Like tomorrow, he comes out, this new unknown guy from developmental, from the Performance Center, comes out and has the greatest match ever. Has a better match than Razor and Shawn at WrestleMania 10. Has a better match than Steamboat and Savage at WrestleMania 3. Does he become somebody that makes an all-time greatest wrestler list?
That's the age-old question, my man. It's like, when we do this for lineage, we do this for experience, we do this for yeah.
I just think for someone who's been in the business for, I'll say, 4 to 6 years, MJF has turned a lot of heads, and he hasn't been doing it on a major platform for too long. I think he's delivered every time since he's been in there. As someone who was, he's boring, he doesn't do flips and all that stuff. Like, MJF gets it. He can do all that stuff. He chooses.
I have the utmost respect for your opinions. I think you're very educated in this game. All I'm saying is that when it comes to the greatest heels in the history of the business,
top 25.
Yeah, that's why he brought. Like, question.
Look at our list. And who would you take out to replace with MJF? I'd really like to know.
No one on my list.
I think the point where we are right now that we're arguing it, I think he could fit in there.
Yeah, but question.
Who do you take?
Who are you guys talking about when you said he's a babyface?
Oh,
Bray Wyatt.
We were talking about Bray Wyatt.
Bray Wyatt.
And then we were talking about. I joked. I said, "Well, Roman Reigns is a face heel right now." You know, it's like kind of hard to hate him because he's doing so well.
Yeah. That's Bray Wyatt. I thought about Bray Wyatt, but like, I remember back in before he became the Fiend and everything, like he was just getting way too many good ovations to be like,
Dude, he was way too fucking cool to be the best heel of all time. Like
I was at the Raw when he debuted. I was at the episode of Raw when he debuted.
You know what I mean? That's what I'm saying. Like, so it's tough. But like to Conrad's point, look, man, it's a tricky one because I'm looking at our list right now and I'm like,
well, what you just said, I
don't
can counterpoint that. MJF gets the proper reaction. You would think people would want to cheer him for how good he is as a heel, but then he makes you so pissed at him that you're just like, oh, dude, I hate that dude. Like,
another thing to piggyback up on wrestling too is that MJF always stays in character, bro. It doesn't matter. He never be kayfabe. Like, he always stays in character. He wants you to really think that.
You're right. I love that.
He wants you to really think that he's like that, bro. Like, I guarantee if you went up to him and you're a wrestling fan and he'd probably give you an autograph. He'd probably shake your hand and give you an autograph and stuff, but I guarantee he'll stay in character.
Can I tell part of the story real quick? I met the dude. I was covering an event, a local indie show here in Buffalo, ESW, Empire State Wrestling. You could look it up. Swear to God, the Lucha Bros and MJF were just finally announced for AEW, like, very new. I didn't know too much about him. I'm doing research on the people, blah, blah, blah. And I send out a tweet like, hey, I'm doing a review for ESW. MJF vanity searches the name of the promotion. And he goes, listen, Mark, no one cares about your reviews. Stay out of the show. I don't care what you say. Keep your mouth shut. And then I show up there and I'm the first person in his line. And I'm no small dude. So when he sees me, he's like, hey, Cue Ball, what's going on? What do you want? And then I was like, Cue Ball? I'm like, I'm the dude you were talking to on Twitter. And he was like, hey, bud, what's up? You know, how you doing?
Your points are so valid. Here's the deal. At the end of the day, like I compare this direct analogy to John Cena. Very hard for me to do anything about John Cena without cringing. But there was a time I really enjoyed John Cena. Dr. Thuganomics John Cena was amazing.
Agreed.
Now check this out. John Cena was arguably the hottest wrestler in the business, other than maybe Batista at that time. Now, at that moment, would you say John Cena is one of the greatest of all time?
No,
you can't.
Exactly.
Now, 15 years later, it's a no-brainer.
Yeah,
I just think that this kid has more experience than people are giving him credit for. He was on MLW.
I think no one's denying that, Conrad. I think it's just like Melchi said, when you take in longevity, like it's hard doing these type of lists because you gotta take longevity, how much you hate them, what their character, you know,
Correct.
even to let's say their wrestling ability. Like that's why I think MJF isn't there yet.
I even put it on the line, and I'm going to say it right here on the video. I said, I will stand down, but remember this. MJF will be a top 10 heel when it's all said and done.
And nobody's denying that.
No. And I'm just saying that I thought he could have been on it.
It's the same how a lot of people felt about Roman when he got the first WrestleMania main event. Like he didn't feel like a real main eventer yet. Now Roman Reigns, obviously now
He's the man.
Man,
he's
bro.
been
But
now. Like when
you
he
know what?
first faced Brock at WrestleMania, you were kind of like, this guy doesn't. He just came out of the Shield. Like you don't really feel like is he really a WrestleMania main event worthy guy? Now you fast forward. That was 5 years ago. Look at me
Which
5
is
years
crazy
ago.
because that was the
Very
best
good
match.
point.
That was the best match he and Brock ever had too.
That's a very good point.
And that was 5 years ago. To bring it back to the original point about MJF, I don't even think we need 5 years. That's how good MJF I think MJF is. We come back and do this list again a year from now.
I think he might make it. He might make it. I agree with you. And you know, one of the biggest things that you said, Conrad, that is really making me scratch my head, and I'm like, maybe he should have been here already. Is the fact what you said? He gets the reaction that he wants, and that is critical right now in this day and age, because you're right. It's very easy to cheer the fucking cool bad guys, A tag team like FTR or something like that. Like they're fucking cool to cheer for, and they're heels, right? Like they got that old school vibe, and I love that. And so does MJF to some degree, but he has that ability to say, you know what, you like me? No, you don't. You fucking hate me. And the only guy that comes to mind that can do that with me personally is Vince McMahon. Vince McMahon has the ability to have me. I'm clay in his hand. When he goes on TV and he just says a couple things and you're like, oh, look at fucking Vince McMahon. Don't you love Vince? Like, man, he's so good. And then he just has the ability to be like, well, why don't you shut your fat faces? And I'm just like, fuck, I hate you again. Like, dude, he has the ability to turn me mid-sentence, and I'd be like, you know what? And he does it all the time. So MJF has that ability to do it, and he was your number one pick. Your number one pick was Vince McMahon, and he's got the ability to do that. And MJF can do that. I'm like, fuck, maybe he should have made the list. That's the interesting thing about it.
Vince does it all the time. MJF does it, and I'll give you a perfect example of something that literally broke
Jericho too. I think he can do that.
A specific situation that broke my heart. Rock, 1998. He just finished up as the people's. Well, he was the people's champion. He was on the rise as the people's champion. I don't know. It was 98. He just lost Intercontinental title at SummerSlam. He's getting cheered every single night. Then Vince is like, I guess the powers that be are like, you know what? What we're going to do is we're going to say, you know what? The Rock's the people's champ. Now he's embracing the people's champ role. He goes to, look it up. I'm trying to think about it. He goes to the pay-per-view. They were in Canada. Breakdown. Maybe it was in Canada. It wasn't in Canada. But anyway.
Breaking Point.
Breaking Point. Thank you.
No, Breakdown. It was Breakdown.
Breaking Point was the other night.
Okay.
Oh, my
Breakdown.
bad.
He gets cheered like you wouldn't believe. Almost on an Austin level, he got cheered that night. 2 months later, when The Rock is like this, he's about to explode as a babyface, and then turns on a dime and becomes the corporate champ.
Because of how well that night was written. Survivor Series 98 as a pay-per-view on a whole sucks, but the way it was written all made sense by the end of the night. The tournament is much to watch.
As much as we made crap on Vince Russo, and rightfully so, that was his magnum opus. That was probably his best thing he ever wrote that night.
Beautiful. I mean, Rock, and he even did it at Hollywood Rock too. Like he would say things and crowd people would cheer, and then he would do things. He would say something like, "Oh, The Rock is better," and then he'd be like, "Oh, screw you." He would say something, and fans start booing him again.
Let me explain. No, he did it best. Even though I think Sacramento Rock concert is the best, his Toronto, Canada, because The Rock is right here in Toronto, Canada. Crowd goes crazy. This is the first time you ever heard someone say that. Yay! That's where I'm from. Yeah.
All right, we're signing out, guys. It's always good to do the podcast. We have more coming for next year, 2021. Stay tuned for the next episode. And it's been fun having you guys on here, man. Everybody,
this was a great one, man.
Happy New Year.
Very good.
Shout out to Canada. Breakdown 90.